Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Scroll Podcast. My name is Ryan.
And I'm your favorite wise wizard.
Yes, you are, buddy. Yes, you are. And today, we are going to be going through Whitehack RPG 4th edition. 4th edition, not 3rd edition, which is I'm holding up behind 4th edition, but in fact 3rd edition, or 4th edition. That's what we're going through today. We'll talk about it. We have opinions.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it. As we often do on this show, we're going to talk about a game.
Well, I mean, I wish we did it more often because it feels like we haven't actually done a review in forever. I think 3 out of our last 4 episodes were interviews, and our numbers are dropping since we're doing 1 or 2 episodes a month. So we should get back into it. And today, for those who might notice, not like I actually will put the episode out today, it's Friday. This is going to be our new day.
Gotta get down
about 45
Friday.
minutes sooner. Yeah, so we'll be doing that on Fridays, and we're going to be trying to get side quests up and running again here sooner than later as well. So we're getting back to content. We've had, we life happened, and
life has been happening. We've had some changes. We're new people now.
Yeah.
So my name's now Blunter, not Hunter. So please refer to me as Blunter. So
Blunter, your favorite wise wizard, Blunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dope. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna breeze. Listen, we're not gonna breeze through this one because, my God, we'll get to it. We're gonna do most of the game. Prior to that, though, we have a couple things we want to talk about. First and foremost, this morning the ENNIEs dropped their nominations, and here's the thing: the ENNIEs exists. It's fine. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're an embarrassment, and but when our friends are nominated, we like to talk about it because it's good for our friends to be nominated. A number of people that we have either had on the show or are regular guests or are actually part of the show at this point are nominated for ENNIEs this year. So we wanted to at least chat about those a little bit. So I have a list. We'll breeze through some of them, and we'll get going. I think it's up. So first and foremost, right off the bat, best adventure long form. What's that say right there? That's right, The Bloom, Space Penguin Inc., Josh Mansky, Goblin Archives, as well as a bunch of other people, Josh Clark, Christian Mehrstram, Zach Hazard. A lot of people made The Bloom happen. The Bloom is fantastic. We talked about it here on the show. I think we ran it on the show. I don't know if you were in. Were you in?
I wasn't in that episode.
Yeah. So we got to play some stuff. We got to do it. Obviously, we're big Elemental horror fans here on the show.
Absolutely.
We've had the writing seminar. Parthenogenesis of Hungry Hollow currently has like maybe a day left on it to go back that. And Josh Demansky is officially part of the Weekly Scroll as our resident side quest GM
and best friend,
and bestest of friend. And The Bloom was printed by Space Penguin Inc., who is a homie since we literally see them every month on our regularly scheduled Not Cat Chat. So I think that's actually going to be next week or the week after, 2 weeks from now, I think. That is the first one from Space Penguin Inc., but that is Josh Mansky, Goblin Archives. That's Liminal Horror with The Bloom. The second one, specifically for Space Penguin Inc., we're going to scroll down to Best Monster and Adversary, VR Dead from Space Penguin Inc. That's Daniel Hallinan. That is one of the initial releases, one of the primary releases when Space Penguin Inc. first started. It is Space Penguin Inc.'s first birthday, I think maybe yesterday or the day before, so they were having a sale on all the original stuff, which VR Dead was one of them. So awesome for not 1, but 2 zines published by Space Penguin Inc. this year, nominated for an ENNIE. This segues into a couple other things too. First, staying here in Best Monster and Adversary, we have a regular guest of the show. It's been on, I think, 3 times, with the Rune-Cairn Bestiary from Colin Lasora at By Odin's Beard. It is wonderful. I have multiples now because after the last campaign, I bought another one. It's right there. But do you have one of those?
I don't.
Oh, remind me. That's why I bought a second one. I'll throw it in your box. Yeah, love Colin Lasora, love everything they do, love the Rune-Cairn Bestiary. Yeah. The Warden Saga Remastered is fantastic, and like I said, I got that as an add-on with the Warden Saga Remastered. So That's great right there. That is another regular that we've had on the show who you will see again on the show. Anytime they do anything, we're going to have them on, as long as they are willing to come on and talk to a couple of assholes. And then...
who's the other asshole other than you?
Oh. Josh? I don't know. And also a lot of times on here you will see Salvage Union.
Yeah.
And guess who edited Salvage Union?
I couldn't even begin to. I've never met a dude who edits everything all the time. It couldn't be Jarrett. So
it could, of course it couldn't be, but guess what it is? Jarrett Crater. I think Salvage Union's nominated for 3 of the ENNIEs on here. And that means Jarrett Crater would get an ENNIE if any of those go through. What else we got here? Oh, friend of the show, Alex T. What's up?
No, finish what you're saying.
Oh, friend of the show, Alex T. With best art, cover across 1,000 Dead Worlds, Black Oath Entertainment. The artist being Vladimir Manyukin. Beautiful cover for 1,000 Dead Worlds. I can actually click over to it. It's this right here. Fantastic, gorgeous, amazing cover.
It's a good cover.
I got the special edition version, so I didn't get this cover, which does make me sad a little bit. But that's fantastic. Yeah. So I think obviously some other great names here on the ENNIEs list. You know, we got Ultraviolet Grasslands. We got the new Imperium Maledictum from Warhammer. We got Ether Reich nominated for a bunch of awards. Well deserved. That book is fucking amazing. We'll be going over that at some point, as well as a bunch of other cool games and stuff on here. So make sure, you know, I mean, the ENNIEs, if Josh wins for the Bloom, is the closest we'll ever get to an ENNIE, since he's technically part of the show. Because in order to be a podcast and be submitted to the ENNIEs, you have to make a highlight reel and submit it. And since we don't even edit our episodes, I'm sure shit not making a highlight reel. So you will never see us on the ENNIEs.
I will say this year, looking at the nominations, I am a lot happier with a lot of the nominations I'm seeing this year as opposed to last year, because I remember reading last year and being like, I'm just not even gonna, you know.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Oh, there was one I forgot that I wanted to mention. Yeah. The Hexcrawl Toolbox from Games Omnivorous.
Oh yeah, of course.
Nominated for 3 ENNIEs as well. Best cartography, as well as a number of other products. So obviously we're huge fans of the show. Andre's been on the show, or we're huge fans of Games Omnivorous. Andre's been on the show. Everything they do is fucking magic.
Yeah, amazing.
That's another one that you got to check out. But a lot of really cool stuff. It does. There's a nice spread of things on here. I mean, Shadow Dark and stuff's on here because it goes all the way back to last year. That one's obviously going to get some stuff, but a lot of really interesting things. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. You know,
who would you vote for best game this year, Ryan? Who's your vote for best game?
Best game or best product?
No, best game. Can we read your choices?
Where's best game? No, I want to see it.
It's under best free game and product, and above best layout and design.
Best game.
Is it Shadow Dark RPG?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna keep that opinion to myself, I guess. I've seen Outgunned a bunch. I've not got a chance to read it yet.
I haven't read it either.
I've read a lot of stuff from Mana Project Studio. I really like the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
But I have not got a chance to read Not the End yet. I've read Cobalt Ate My Baby. Anyway, and so as of right now, of the ones I've read, it would be Salvage Union or Shadow Dark, and we haven't even got a chance to go over Salvage Union on the show. So we will see, I guess.
That's a thing we should do.
Yeah, it's on my shelf. I actually got the special edition, a bunch of stuff.
I only got the digital copy on that. So.
Oh no, I got everything. Product of the year is really interesting. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Cyberpunk Augmented. Obviously, we think that's fantastic. Ether Reich, love Ruin Orc and Deckard. Ether Reich's amazing. Gorko is really interesting. I love Mousehole Press. They do a lot of good stuff. Not the End. We talked about that. You've played Outcast Over Raiders, and I do have the box set for that. That's interesting.
I got the box set. Actually, I gave the box set as a gift to the GM that ran that game for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then we got Outgunned, Salvage Union, and Shadow Dark again, who are all nominated for Game of the Year. Valley of Flowers is a book that I want really bad.
I don't know that one.
I know it's been sold at a bunch of places. I was going to snag it from the Karen shop from
Okay.
Yohai. I want to grab that one. The cover's amazing, and everyone that I know that's read it said it's fucking beautiful. I'll have to check that out. And then Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. I have zero interest in Vampire the Masquerade. I wish
I
it was
think I
cooler.
have it.
Yeah. That's it. So that's it as far as indies goes. It's really nice to have people that we have chatted about on the show, to have products we've talked about on the show get nominated for indies. It's nice that not because we talked to them, obviously. They might have hurt their chances more, but it's cool that people we enjoy and the stuff that they make being recognized, being nominated, which is really cool. So a lot of cool stuff there. A couple of things going on right now that we want to talk about. Crumbling Keep is having the Greedy Goblin Summer Sale, July 4th to July 8th.
Great name.
It's really great. I love what Crumbling Keep does. They do lately they've been doing a lot of small things. They're doing a bunch of Morkborg stuff. You can get bundles through this too, where you can get all of the 5e bundle or all of the Merkborg bundle or all that rest of that. But they're at 25% off the entire store for a couple of days. Love James. It's been on the show before. We've talked about Marching Order. They've played as a guest character. Just really fantastic person, and all the stuff that I've got. I even got some 5e stuff from them because they actually do fun, interesting stuff with it. And I could just play with a different rule set. But a lot of the OSC and Merkborg stuff they've been doing lately is fantastic. So grab that. And they just finished the Techromancer Mothership pamphlet.
I did see that.
Yeah, crowdfunding. They had dropped a little preview in some messages for us about a new project coming up mid-July. Very excited for that. So we'll definitely talk to you guys about that when they announce that. So that's
and just
great.
listen, if you go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was going to. I was in transition.
Y'all are interested in what we were talking about. It is literally crumblingkeep.com. Nice and simple.
There you go. That's probably what we should do is the websites, because not everyone's on the YouTubes. And then the last one, last but not least, very much not least, is Red Solstice Issue 5 is out. Yeah. So that is from Stella Condrey. Again, now a resident, a member of the podcast, a member
resident
of
jokester.
a member of our side quest crew. It is up on itch right now at redsolstice.itch.io. You can find all the issues all the way up to and including issue 5. The cover for this one slaps. I'm not even going to describe it for you podcast people. Just go fucking buy this shit. And not only that, I was told by Jert, Space Penguin Inc., who published the last issue, and I think will be publishing Red Solstice from now on, that the print of issue number 5 will be going up on the shop next week.
Ooh.
So, a lot of good stuff there. As we said, congrats to all the ENNIE nominees. We'll see what happens when those people win. The homies, going to get the W's. And then check out Crumbling Keep sales and Red Solstice. As I said on Red Solstice, the PDF available on itch now. But I do believe if you wait for the print run, the PDF will also be sold through that as well. So either way, support Stella. She does amazing things, and the Red Solstice zine is fantastic. And that is that's it. That's what we got.
That's it. That's the show. See y'all later.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we got. I did not bring up my docs, so I will do that real quick because my goodness, we need it. But we're going to be going, as I said,
to keep everyone entertained while you do that.
I have it, so we're good. And my dark mode is not turned off. Okay, so Whitehack 4E, that's happening. As I said,
yeah,
I have it right here in my hands. You know what's weird is you can't find like any of the previous editions anywhere. It's really obnoxious. It's fucking obnoxious. I'm not gonna lie. So I was trying to find the PDF of 3 so I could bring the two up together and really reference them together. You can't find it. If you go find Whitehack on Drive-Through, through the website, through everything, 3 is gone. You can't find the book anywhere. You can't find 2. You can't find 1. So if you don't have the previous editions, I guess you just don't get them.
I guess I don't.
But I have the new edition here. It is a print-on-demand version. I will talk about that in a second. I do have the 3rd edition here, which is not a print-on-demand edition, and it's beautiful. It's a nice print. It's a beautiful dusk jacket.
Ooh,
it's
look at that.
Fantastic gray hardback. Really love the 3rd edition.
Like a real book.
It was fantastic. Yeah. So what the fuck is Whitehack? So Whitehack was written by Christian Mehrstram. Mehrstram, who also wrote Solarcar's Wake and October Landed, which you might have heard mentioned before. It is a game that Johan Nohr did the layout for. It's absolutely beautiful. If you look at that, and then you look at Into the Odd, and then you look at Mark Borg, you're going to think it was all done by different people. Nope, same creative dude. But that book's been out for a while. But this book, Whitehack, first edition came out in 2013. And this is the 4th edition. It is a 10-year anniversary edition, because it came out in 2023. To paraphrase, Whitehack is an ongoing development project with new editions coming out once there is enough new finished material. 4th edition offers significant improvements in almost all areas and also broadens and deepens the scope of the game compared to previous editions. There is on the website a lot of resources. The website being like, I don't fucking know, whitehack.com or something, if you want to look that up. Quick.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
And then, I will say, the one thing I will say is I'm kind of disappointed this is the POD edition. I can only imagine this is obviously the easiest thing to do for the creator. You don't have to fuck with distribution or anything like that. But the whole shiny cover thing kind of, I don't know, bums me out. It's a new edition.
It is whitehackrpg.wordpress.com.
Boom, there you go. Kind of bums me out. It's a POD. It's a 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you want to make sure the anniversary edition's the glossiest cover you can possibly make. So
there you go. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe they'll do another print run. I don't know. But anyway, so we're talking Whitehack RPG. Whew. Do we want to get some thoughts out of the way early?
Yeah. Yeah. You want me to start?
Yeah. Let's. Not all of our thoughts.
There's a lot of things about this game that I like. There are several things in this game that I like. That's a good
one. That's a good way to start it.
I prepped that opening earlier. I was like, what am I going to say that's appropriate for my feelings? Like, there's a lot of things I like about this game.
Yeah, there are. I really, really enjoy the overarching concepts and a lot of the intent behind the design.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It does. I will say this. It is giving me flashbacks to the horrors of reading Blades in the Dark, which is not a good feeling.
It was almost exactly. I bounced off of it in a very similar way. For those of you listening, Ryan actually wrote a rule summary, and I read 2 other people's rule summaries as well. So I have a fairly decent understanding of this game, and also shout out the 2 rule summaries that I read. I should have pulled them up.
No. I have all that info.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes. Okay. Well, then I might as well. I'll read that info then.
Let's honor those people who educated me.
Madison and Milton.
Right.
They are the 2 people. Milton. I don't know who Milton is. But they are all over the Whitehack site. They really love Whitehack. Apparently, they did a rule summary of 3E and then 4E, and then Madison did another rule summary after that. Milton is from the last readout blog, Readout, like REDOUBT. So it's the-last-readout.blogspot.com. They did the original rule summary, and then Madison's rule summary is on. Oh, maybe I had not pulled that one up. But yeah, I know. Oh no, I have it over here. That's what I was doing. The Whitehack complete rule summary. This is Madison, and she is at social-rooster.itch.io. Want to give a big shout out to both of those people. It's listen, I'm not dumb. I like rules. We read rules a lot. I very rarely have to Google rule summaries of a game so I can be like, how the fuck do I read this?
Mm-hmm,
You know? And this is one of those times. And I very rarely have to take more than one sitting to read through an entire rule set, no matter how big it is. Right? I can cruise like a 300-400 page rule set in one sitting if I need to. I bounced off this so many times. So many times. I'll give further, I guess, opinions as we go. But again, let's just get into it. Let's just get into it. You know, that's probably a good thing to do, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. So let me hide this. Nope, that's not the one I wanted to hide. This is the one I wanted to hide. So Whitehack, 4th edition. It's interesting. The character sheet. This is this is like a character sheet for the game as the cover of the game, which I thought was neat. So if you look like forward digital at the top, that's like class and base, like it's all the thing, whatever, right? So for those in podcast land, we have hopped over to the cover. It's a fine cover. I actually honestly wish that the like purplish pink color from the PDF was the one that was on the book, but this is closer to the same white and blue as the original edition. So I guess that's why they did that. But it is a series of arrows, both up and down, like order, chaos, above, below, reason, magic, etc., etc. Whitehack, and then it has a Roman number 4 at the top left, meaning it is the 4th edition. It is also from Drive-Thru RPG, so it has DRM, which sucks. This is one reason when I get the option of Drive-Thru and Itch, I'll always take Itch. But this is a 148 page book, 144 page book, something like that.
Something like that.
Again, written by Christian Mehrstram. There's not a whole lot. I assume they did everything. There's no one else listed anywhere for anything. There's a Games by Christian Mehrstram page. It's Whitehack, Soul to Cars, Wake, and October Landed, with all of the various editions and expansions and everything all listed by date. Very, very well laid out. Like, very, very gives you all that you need. And this is for their family always. One interesting thing I'll say right off the bat, because there were times where I was like, man, why like these, if you're using a rule, just use what's common in the rule. Just call a saving throw. And then I realized partway through this, it does talk about in the change document, they removed all the OGL aspects, obviously after the OGL debacle of WotC and fuck WotC. So some of the things like save values used to be saving throws in 3rd edition are now save value, defense value, things like that.
Double positive and double negative, which I assume used to just be advantage and disadvantage.
Oh, I'm curious because I hate that usage. So let's see.
I hate it as well.
So let's.
This definitely was one of those things where as I learned, like as I really internalized their keywording for stuff, as I'd read it, I would replace their term with like what the thing is called everywhere else.
Just call the thing. Just call the thing the thing.
Just call the thing a thing.
3rd edition had the positive double rolls and the negative double rolls too. So that's obnoxious. So all right, let's get into it. Let me pull up. We can do this. Yeah, let me pull up my summary. I'm just gonna.
Oh, that's what I'm reading too. I have the book open in the window, and then your summary in the window next to it. So I will say, we're gonna criticize this a lot, but the digital tools, amazing. So there's bookmarks, and the table of contents is all hyperlinked. But not only that, each page that you go to has the page number at the bottom. And then so the page number links you back to the table of contents, and the number next to it links you to the index page at the very end that refers to key terms. So if you go to if you want to look at like alignment on the index page, it takes you to 42, and then 42, if you click that on the bottom of that page, it takes you back to the table of contents. It's just very easy to maneuver around this document.
So you're saying if I go to the bottom of the introduction page, these are also hyperlinked. One takes you back to the index, and then click anywhere else, and the number takes you to its area in the appendix.
In the index. So the first number takes you back to the actual page number itself, takes you back to the table of contents, and the secondary number is referencing the index, and if you click that, it takes you to the index. So.
So the digital tool is fantastic. The digital tool is great.
Yeah.
You don't get those digital tools in the book, though. You don't.
But luckily there's no
bookmark.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I could not keep staring at the just bright whiteness of this document, and it's DRM, so I couldn't edit it to flip the colors on it or anything without doing some shit I didn't want to. So I sat down with the book that does not have the digital tools. So the digital tools are fantastic, but here's I'll do an early critique and we'll talk about it as we go. Hyperlinking, right?
Right.
A maze, right? Does not make it not a maze. It just makes it a hyperlinked maze. You know what I mean? Like, just because something is hyperlinked and you can navigate around in the pages doesn't mean that what's on the pages is easy to understand or is in an order that is understood. Like,
that is very
this
fair.
is such a series of contradictions in this book. The things that I'm like, I think so many of these things are done so well, and then there's just I don't know if it's just, I don't even know what it is. I don't even know how to describe it. But I'll say it many times as we go. I'm going to use strong words like hate a lot. I do enjoy this game. I think the concepts are fantastic. I don't critique in a lot of grays. So I don't hate. I don't really.
There are a lot of really good concepts in this. They do get mired in like this like over mechanized, like over engineered aspect where it's like, wow, keeping up with all this at the table would be quite the challenge. And even like pulling the individual rules out of the text in and of itself is a challenge.
Yeah. I will say if I had to describe this game in one word, the one word I would describe it with is over-engineered.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I also think that like as we go through, you'll like the people listening will hear us talk about it. But this book was clearly written by somebody who's been writing this game for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they will say rules in a way that maybe if I'd been reading the game for 10 years, I'd realize it was a rule.
Right.
And they do, but they forget that it's not. Like, that's not. Like, this book is... Oh, let's just get into it. So anyway, so there's an introduction page or chapter, which I love. We'll get into that in a second. There's a section on character generation. We're going to go through that. There's a section on the core rules. We're going to go through that. And that hits you to about 66 pages. And then there's a section of optional rules. We're going to skim through that. And then there's a refereeing Whitehack. We're going to barely touch that. And then there's monsters and artifacts, which we'll touch on. And then there's the appendix. Again, all of this is extremely well, like the table of contents, fucking good job. Again, bookmarks, hyperlinks, everything's hyperlinked. There's a list of tables, so every table you possibly want, hyperlinked right in the table of contents. Fantastic. There's a list of figures, so all of the... You can take care of that. All of the figures in the book, all the examples, all of the I guess I'll call them graphics, are hyperlinked in there. Like, everything is done in there, and that gets us to like 140-ish pages. Again, the digital tools, immaculate. Like, can't ask for any more from digital tools. Like, anything else would be going into layout because it'd have to be like color coding and shit like that. But as far as like inline hyperlinks everywhere where there's a number listed, will take you to the number. As Hunter said, every single page is hyperlinked to the appendix and back to the table of contents, which is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Great fucking
inline
job.
hyperlinks as well. Did you say inline hyperlinks?
Yeah. Oh, they're so good too.
Yeah, they're great.
And I didn't find a single broken one. Did you?
I didn't search them as I usually am the ones like, are all these fucking working? But I didn't search them nearly as in depth as I usually do. So,
gotcha. Okay, so this is gonna be a lot. So let's get cracking. So, all right, introduction. I love the whole introduction chapter. I think it's really good.
I think it's great. I read it actually too. Usually, honestly, I'm the one who skips the introduction chapter and jumps in the game. I read it. Yeah. I thought this is great. I really liked like the first, or not the first paragraph, second paragraph. I just really like. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really well done. We're gonna go through a lot of this actually. So, let's go ahead and do that. So, the way the book is laid out, it's laid out it's like a novel, I guess. I mean, it says chapter 1 at the top. It says introduction in big letters, and then underneath the introduction, it says where the readers introduced the perspective. So when you get to character creation, the same kind of thing, where the character learns who they are or whatever, blah blah blah. Like, it's an interesting way it's laid out. As I got all the way through the introduction, I thought I was going to love this book. Then I hit the actual stuff.
Yeah,
and
so did I.
Less so.
I was really excited in the introduction. I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool.
Yeah. And then how things change. So going through a lot of the introduction, Whitehack is a game where you get to play a character in a fictional world. The referee puts you in a situation. A lot of this stuff is generic. Blah, 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 blah. Homunculuses, blah, blah, blah. Rules challenge you, blah, 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 blah. Some of the concepts of the game start to come out, though, in this initial this thing that I like. I'm saying blah, blah, blah. Read this. It's really good. It really gets you in the mindset of what Christian, right, was trying to... Now I'm self-conscious. Is it Christian or Christopher?
I think it was Christian.
Yeah, Christian Mehrstram. Okay. So it really gets you into the mindset of this game, because one of the things is people try to call this the OSR, and I'm the first one to say the OSR is dead. It officially died in 2019, and now it's just a marketing term. The word OSR is genericized, just like Kleenex. It means nothing. It just means your standard dungeon game that's not D&D. But this game is not that. There are a lot of story game elements that are brought into it using some of the BX stuff, but it is not by any stretch of imagination anything that I would call OSR. And some of this introduction tells you a lot about why it's a little bit different. So the rules challenge you by telling you how to handle certain events. They deal with combat and things like that. Blah, 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 lets you collaborate on world creation. That's one of the first steps I was like, oh, this is interesting. It also lets you collaborate a bit on game world creation, either as something new that you build together from the ground up or as part of an existing world that you settle in. When you use your characters' groups, which are her species, affiliations, and vocations. The entire book uses her, she, her pronouns. Cool, love it. Uses group, species, affiliation, vocation, whatever. You can create or add to what is already known about the setting. That right there, not OSR. You're literally in-game world building with your groups and affiliations. That's some story gamey shit right there, and I really enjoy it. Dice are crucial, resolving stuff, etc., etc., etc. Then we get to an about the book section. This gives you a little bit more. The book contains a complete role-playing game with its roots in the original rules tradition. It is designed to run just about any material from 1974 onward with little or no conversion, and there is a bunch of conversion rules in the back that are great. This is the 4th edition of the book. All of the book is for the players and referees alike. Even the monsters and artifact can be considered rumors or lore. And then this is something that I'm going to reference a bunch of times. And I'm going to say, remember that about the book section. So you guys listening, all of you watching, remember this moment, okay? The book is designed to be read from cover to cover. I will reference that multiple times. But it also has an index and an extensive table of contents to help you quickly find your way. Sometimes a word or phrase has been put in bold. This follows from experience rather than principle, marking things that have proven to be easy to miss. Not keywords, not rules or anything, just random shit is bolded because over the course of 10 years, some things got easy to miss. We'll also reference that a bunch of times, right? There's a whole section here on new to the hobby. It's a great section. If you're new to the hobby, it's great. It says, welcome. Like, I know this can be intimidating. Guess what? Everyone that's done this before you has felt just like you. And I love that. I think they do a really fantastic job of being like, this is what this game is. This is how you're going to feel. It's okay. There's people around you. There you go. Enjoy it. I really like it. In a way, complete beginners are the closest this book comes to a default reader because no one comes into it with preconceptions from previous games. Cool. Right? And then there is a quick rundown for experienced newcomers, which means people that have played TTRPGs before, but are new to this game. So this is where I really start my breakdown of stuff, right? So
I think basically this is where you start breaking down, like internally, you know?
I'll tell you, I can tell you the exact moment where I noped out the first time. I'll let you know where it is. So basically what this says is in a small spaces, like, what is this game, right? So it is a roll under system with crits, fumbles, advantage, and disadvantage. They don't call it that. That's what it is. There are groups and classes, which are not the same thing, which are a very important part of how this entire game works, which is really amazing in concept. And we'll see how it works. We'll talk about it. So using your groups, your classes, all of the stuff, you triangulate a lot of stuff like magic and things like that. Basically, the game is designed to be dumped onto any setting, and you can be anything you want, any way you want, which is a cool concept. And when we get to character generation, Hunter will talk more about that.
I will.
Yeah. Whew. So players have influence over setting creation and development, which we've already talked about a little bit. This is really interesting. I did read some reviews where they said that, when you try to bring a game like this into a setting that's very built already, there can be some friction with that, which is interesting. So this setting, I think, is really good for a very broad stroke setting where you can allow some room for building as you go. It has a little touch of Microscope or Archipelago in it, which I think is really neat. It encourages procedurally generated content, which also helps with like building the world as you go. You can just roll stuff and have it go. There's low player and monster HP but there's a rule about damage reduction, which we'll get to. And then there are a bunch of optional rules that are kind of optional, and some of them should just be in the rules.
They're just weird. Some of them should just be rules.
Yeah, a lot of them should just be rules. And that's the entire rundown of the game, which is cool. I wish every fucking game should have something like this, where like, this is what this game is. It's a roll honor system that uses this kind of shit. There you go. Boom. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about, where I say, give me something about the rules before we get to character generation, so I understand character generation. This is exactly what I fucking mean. I don't need every rule, but character generation, a little bit of that would be great. And there's a whole section here to the veteran Whitehacker. It just talking about, there's some corrections or some tweaks, whatever, it happens. There's a section here on conversions with links to everywhere else, which is fine. I do think, and I will say, that this book was designed as a PDF, not as a book.
I would probably say that's completely true.
100%, because like the number of times that it'll be like, here's this thing happens, check out this page, and it's like, just tell me on that page what you're talking about, and the book is not hyperlinked. Like, I can't just click and then click back really quickly, but this conversion starts a bunch of that. Flip to page this, flip to page that, do this, do that, whatever. It's whatever. How to roll and read the dice. I don't care. Terminology. Okay, so there's pages and pages of terminology, bolded terminology with definitions of what they are. Like an ability is some kind of trait that lets a character do something unusual. Each class has special abilities. Here's one of the issues I had that I was like, oh, dope. Bolded keywords throughout the entire book.
Nope.
Do you think any of these are keyworded as we go through?
No, they're not. No, I know that they're not.
Yeah.
And it's terribly confusing. So.
Yep. So because the words that you have definitions for that are important to know are not bolded. Random shit is bolded because the author felt like it. That's the first time I'm like, why? You were doing so good. The layout's not bad. Like, it's very well structured.
Yeah. Very acceptable.
And then why just have random stuff bolded? But multiple pages, fumbles, HD, HP, harm cost, quality, species, XP, all that stuff. 2 full pages of terminology right off the bat. And then something I thought was cool too right off the bat, and then realized later I really didn't like it. There are, I believe, 9 examples of play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm scrolling 7, 8, 9. 9 examples of play across a bunch of pages, right? I was like, dope. Had so many examples of play. This is amazing. We always talk about it. You would never have too many examples of play, right?
Right.
We'll come back to this. I do want to say right off the bat on page 22 is the first time I was like, oh, this is interesting. So fighting suits of armor, there's a little map.
Oh, yeah.
And you like this. I'm not a fan.
I do like this, actually.
What is this called again?
The ASCII mapping. Which is like a cool reference also to like old, like rogue like PC DOS games. Like it's just a method of mapping using symbols
just,
on your keyboard.
not even just mapping, like drawing pictures and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I always use it for mapping. So
yeah, but I mean, people use this kind of stuff to drop like 100-line pictures of Johnny Depp and shit in ASCII. You know what I mean? With like slashes
I mean,
and shit.
yes, that is also a thing.
So this thing is made up of like dashes and periods and like the it's not called a tilde, but it's like the wiggly thing and like up arrows and equal signs and stuff like that. You like it. I'm not a fan. I think it's 2023 and you could just draw a graphic, because I don't mind this one, but this one actually has like the armor suit listed as A and player character listed as P. Right. But when we get to later ones where they don't
there's
have
a later one that has
who.
nothing and you're just like, yeah, just assume what this means. I do see what you're saying. I mean, personally for me, if I'm going to use this, I'm going to have a key on the side every time. That's just like, hey, I mean, I might use the same symbol for the same thing every room, but I'm still going to have a key up. But yes, I do know the example you're speaking of. And that is a little like, okay, even for the ASCII stuff, I really like it. But even I'm like, when I first look at it, I'm like, whoa, fuck. Like having a key is like super necessary.
Yeah, I mean, if you have X's and O's on the map, just tell me what the X's and O's are, so I don't have to stare at it 10 times to go, wait a minute, which one's in reach and which one's not in reach?
Oh, fuck.
Like, technically, they're both 10 feet away from it. So there's only two really big parts of the book we're going to go over. Everything else we're going to breeze through like we just did with the introduction. One is character generation, which is Hunter, because that's just, we have somehow, over the course of 160 episodes, just fallen into the habit of Hunter does character generation and I do core rules. That's just how it works out. I really enjoy the core rules. Hunter really enjoys character
generation.
Yeah, so it works out well for us. These are the only two parts of like the 7 chapters we're really going to dig deep into. So buckle your butts. All right.
I feel like this getting up here, I have a feeling right now like I'm about to give a speech for a project that I'm unprepared for. I have the notes up and everything. Like I have a comprehensive guide on everything. It's just like going through this, it still feels like, dude, I run every game that we like, not every game that we read, but a lot of them that we've read, I've run them now, at least for one shots. And like, dude, I could not run this game right now.
I have read this one cover to cover.
Yeah.
Whitehack 40 is what I'm holding up. I've read this cover to cover like 3 or 4 times now. I have read 3rd edition cover to cover at least in total once, and then other parts of it a bunch of times just to try to get some context for it. I have read the 2 rules summaries that we have from Milton and from Madison. I have written a rule summary. I have outlined the entire introduction character. I have outlined almost this entire book, and I have no fucking clue how to play this game.
Okay, I have the notes. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna do my best, guys. It is very funny because I do have Ryan's summary up, and Ryan pleaves his own comments in yellow. And sometimes they're just like,
red is my thoughts, yellow is direction for you.
Oh, okay. Like, red is his thoughts, and sometimes they're just like. I had this also color inverted earlier, but that's why I'm like, whatever the colors are. But sometimes Ryan's just like, what the fuck is all of this? Okay, so generating character. We do start with one of our favorite things ever, which is a numbered list on generating a character. There are 6 steps. The first one being pick a preliminary name and roll your basic attributes. You do roll 3d6 for each of your attributes in order. Those attributes being, I'm just going to go through each of the list numbers and give better detail than it's laid out later. It's strength, agility, toughness, intelligence, willpower, charisma. Very easy to understand. I think we have a shared opinion about willpower feeling weird and its use in this game. Feels like it should be wisdom. After that, you pick a character class. If your last character died, the referee may offer you a rare class, which is in the optional rules.
I actually fucking love that. I do actually love that.
Okay. I might let my player characters play as whatever, whenever. Although I do see giving them a reward on death to do something like outside of the norm is cool.
I think the middle ground is, I don't think they should be optional classes. I think they should just be base game classes, but that you only get them after you die as like a reward for dying.
That
so like that's
really
how I
cool.
would play it. I wouldn't make them optional. Really cool. I would just say you only get them after you die, which I think is dope as fuck.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. Yeah, you're going to roll the harm dice, which are your hit dice, to get your character's harm points, which is HP.
again, I believe it was hit points before, but they took the OGL out, and that's why it's hard. That's why it's annoying. But I do understand.
I think harm points is fine. I think it's fine. I think
it's
it
better
works
than hit
incredibly
protection.
well. Well, it's that hit protection. Yes, I actually prefer this to hit protection. I think this works great. It's a great sub. It's still HP as well, which I think works in its favor. Yeah. So we were just on the harm dice. Yeah, and then every level, you get to re-roll with more dice, and you always keep the higher between the new and old score, which seems logical and good. After that, you're going to add a species, a vocation, and affiliation groups. If you want a species group, you normally need to pick it now, as in like your whole. It's a thing. We'll go over things. Roll your starting funds and buy your equipment, which I love. Also, always the best. I love equipment buys. And then, color the save and give the character an identity, name, age, gender, etc. of your preference. And we'll get to my loose understanding of that at any moment now. After that, there's some example characters. They're example characters. So that's pretty cool.
So much like, I don't understand why they do this, because they do this numerous times. So like, this is where I first was like, wait, I don't get it. And then I started thinking again about the examples of play in the introduction chapter. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Why are they all the way back in the introduction chapter? And why are all of the example characters here in the beginning of the chapter, but not like an example of characters like as you run into the next character kind of thing, you know?
I also love how illegible they are. Like it's just several lines of like numbers and like obviously it does make sense to be parsed out, but just like, dude, tab down on some shit, you know?
Yeah. Well, not only that, but that's what I'm saying is like I have no fucking clue what DF, MV, AV, any of that means at this point. We haven't encountered that at all. But I'm going to read like 10 example characters. I'm like, what am I supposed to get from this right now? Because don't forget, we're reading this cover to cover, just end to end, you know? But no, like, yeah. So that's this was my first like, Anyway.
And then we have a list of example names. Once again, genuinely painful to read this box. None of this is decipherable just because it just is so squished together. I'm sure there's some cool names in here, but just like, it just seems like one long run-on sentence. And then we have just a description of attribute scores. Like I said, it's the basic attributes that they fall into a lot of the game. You know them. And I don't need to explain them to you because you know them. Strength is strength. Agility is agility. Toughness is toughness. Intelligence is intelligence. And willpower is the one that's kind of like the wise character class when we get to it is really focused on willpower. And it has to do with magic. It feels like it should be kind of wisdom. It's focus, and awareness.
Even when you read it, focus, awareness. The wise is using it for magic abilities. That's wisdom.
Willpower is my ability to mentally push through a thing or like put up with something, you know.
I agree.
Wisdom is my ability to know enough to by experience to stay aware of myself and my surroundings, and know when to do things. But it doesn't really matter. Those are the stats. They're perfectly serviceable. It's the classic 6, more or less. And now we get to the using the character table. So there are 3 different classes, and they're fairly asymmetric in their leveling up. All of these tables describe the advancement and what you get for each level of these classes. The 3 classes being the deft, the strong, and the wise. And these are fairly open-ended. You could be a wise knight. You could be a strong wizard. So each level requires an amount of XP, which Ryan and I both think is fairly high, fairly horrendously high. It's pretty insane. Like it's really pretty bad. Like I think, but level 5 for one of them already asks for Who does the most? Like 18,800 XP for Y's advancement at level 5, which is a lot.
Insane. And the Y it's capped out at 10th level. And how many XP for Y's?
Oh, at 10th level?
Yeah.
601,000.
Yeah. That's what chop a couple of those zeros off there, but what are we doing?
I have no idea. Like I saw your note on it first before I really, because I was kind of just going through it and I wasn't like itemizing everything. And I saw your note. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I went and looked. I was like, oh, holy shit, dude. You need over 500,000 to level up to 10th for the strong, or for the wise. Yeah, it's a lot. They're big numbers.
My note, I'm rereading what I wrote on this. My note is, what the fuck is with those numbers on the class table? Holy shit. Is what I wrote. That's for all the people that say we swear too much. There you go.
Yeah. Another great note is a lot of rules here that could be better formatted as bulleted lists, or even better as example character sheets with things pointed out. That would make too much sense.
Well, let's talk about that real quick right here. This is the first time where we're going over this, and this is how the rest of the book is going to be, right?
Yeah, so this is a good indicator, actually.
Yeah. So page 31, using the character class tables. Like,
you mean actually just read the sentence out? So okay.
Yeah, read like the middle paragraph, to halfway through that.
So each level requires an amount of XP. HD is the number of 6-sided harm dice you roll, hoping to increase the character's HP. You roll all HD at each new level using the new total. If it's better than the old HP score, note the attack and save value, AV and SV, which, by the way, it does not keep doing that with AV and on the character sheet. Slots are for some of the character abilities, and groups are how many groups the character can belong to in a mechanical sense. Page 41. Raises give the character an extra attribute point freely allocated at even levels. The rare brave class can also choose to reduce an attribute 1 point instead. So that's a lot of data. There are definite rules in there, and if you're listening along, maybe it was easy to decipher because you're hearing me say it, but written as a singular paragraph, there are 5 or 6 rules in that paragraph.
Yeah. And that's how the entire book is written. It's written as if it's a novel. And the only thing bolded in that entire thing was you roll all HD at each new level. It's the random bolding of the things that they think are important, but not like attack and save value. Important keywords that are actually like rules, mechanics, language, not bolded. Like,
I described this as reading this book I was talking to my girlfriend about it because obviously we live together, so we talk about things. And I was talking to her, like, reading this is like hearing somebody with ADHD, and I know because this is me, explain a system that they've been working on that they're very excited about to you in a fairly non-linear fashion. Like, they know everything so well, and it all becomes this big jumble of data. Because they're so intimately familiar with it and they're so excited to tell you about it.
It's funny that you came up with that example, because how I literally was at work. I was like, how do I describe this? How do I describe this? How do I describe this? And I was like, oh, I don't know how to describe this. This is what reading this book feels like, because I'm telling you, the next 140 pages are like this.
Yes.
Where it's rules language like that, with no spacing, no bullet points, no separation, where some language is rule but some isn't, and you'll be parsing out paragraphs to figure out what's rules or not, because nothing's bolded. Very little is italicized. It'll reference back to stuff earlier that you didn't even realize was a rule. You thought they were just talking about the game all the time. And the way I was going to describe this is incredibly similar to the way you're just going to describe it. Is as if I wrote this system, right? It's as if I walk up to you and just ramble it all to you in one sitting, straightforward, no pauses, no stops for clarification, barely taking a breath, all of it at one time, beginning to end, and then walking away before you can ask any questions. And you're supposed to somehow absorb all of that at one time. And that is reinforced through the way that it's written, and also even the layout, which is just basically 0 pictures, so 170 pages of single column paragraph novel style, pure white just desert in all fucking directions of just lostness. Like, that's how it feels to try to read this book. It's just it's this never-ending stream into your face with no clarification at all.
I will also say that if for those of you who are listening along, that paragraph that I did read that we've been kind of ranting about for a minute, the only bolded part of that paragraph is you roll all HD at each new level, but every part of that is a rule. And like for me, the raises is referred to here, and it's where it's explained. I actually totally missed it the first time, and I saw these charts and I kept scrolling down, and I think it brings it up again later on. But it's right there actually. And if it was bolded and bullet point, it would be less hard to grasp onto. And I will say that also, like, the slots.
This is a paragraph that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is 9 lines long in a paragraph, as if it's a novel, right? Every single line is a rule. It's referencing another rule, but it's written as if it's like prose. So you're parsing everything, right? And again, instead of just like bullet pointing it. And this is describing how to fill out the character sheet. Why? So in the earlier edition, like in the 3rd edition, they actually had a character sheet at the end of character generation at the very least. So yes, the character sheet is at the back of the book, right? In this. But if you're saying this goes here, that goes there, this goes here, why not just have a character sheet up? And instead of having 9 lines of rules there, just have like a thing that points to where AV goes and write what AV is. A thing that goes to sway value and write to SV is. Like, this book is written in a way to put the information out in the least number of pages, but not in a way that is meant to understand it. Yeah. It is just a stream of data. It is not instructions. That's what this book is. Anyway.
Moving on. So, of the 3, they are asymmetric character classes. They get different things at each level. They require different things. And conceptually, I love that. That's one of my favorite things about the Electrum Archive. The 3 different classes work differently. That's actually an amazing example of how to do that. And this is not. But I do conceptually like that. And I like things about this one.
Yeah. I'll say I love the way that these work, but let's get through the classes and the groups, and then we'll be able to talk about how they triangulate. So
these are all very open-ended, but the first one being the deft. This is the type of play that relies on skill and technique. The examples they give are, thieves, spies, rangers, assassins, but really you could be a deft knight. At level 1, you choose a vocation, but you do not mark it next to an attribute. For this vocation, you always roll positive doubles when equipped and doing something in line with that vocation. Positive doubles meaning that it's advantage. You roll twice and take the one that benefits you more. And if the vocation is relevant, you may swap positive doubles for double damage. Great. Those are Ryan's notes on it, and not how it's hidden in the text. But you also gain a slot associated with 2 attunements. There's 1 slot with 2 attunements. The attunements are...
What's a slot, Hunter?
What is a slot? It's never... And actually, I would argue that you get 2 slots, an active slot and an inactive slot. 1 attunement goes into each slot. 1 attunement is active and another one is inactive. You spend a day switching these out. Basically, the attunements are tied to a teacher, item, vehicle, pet play. It's something narrative that you're especially good at or in sync with. One of the things for the ranger, I think it said like their home ground. Like their home environment. So when they're traveling through a similar environment, like they can take it like it's better for them, or like a specific weapon, or maybe like a martial style from your teacher. It's very open-ended, and I do like how open-ended that is. How this is explained leaves a lot to be desired. So using attunement requires active focus. For each slot, One attunement is active. Yeah. And one is inactive. That's 2 slots. That's an active and an active slot.
No, because you get 2 slots, and in each slot you get 2 attunements.
Yes.
One of which is active and one is inactive. So if you have 2 slots, you can have 4 attunements actually. 1 in the foreground, 1 in the background. Yeah. I still don't know what a slot like.
It's just a place where you put things. It's a place where you stick stuff in.
Very true.
Yeah. Okay. Where was I on yeah, switching takes, using attunement requires active focus. Yeah. Okay. I'm going with this. Switching takes a day spent in practice, like you're warming back up on a different set of skills or something. Yeah, they can be invoked once per day to give special rules for difficulty. Basically, for these hard tasks, succeed, and nigh impossible tasks are treated as a regular roll. So it just lets you put your character push past what a normal person would do. And I think that's cool. And I think that's a strength. Lost attunements can't be replaced. How do you lose an attunement, Ryan?
I don't fucking know. I
don't either.
I have no idea. Yeah.
But I can tell you that they remain as keywords.
What's a keyword?
Fuck if I know. And they give +1 to related tasks or attacks. Maybe that's what the keyword is. So if you lose an attunement, which may be somewhere in this book, I've admittedly have not absorbed as much of this book as I'd like to have. But if you lose them, they become a keyword that adds +1 to related tasks or attacks. I assume it means it's a roll under system. So by +1, do they mean like +1 to the difficulty that you have to roll under? That's what I assume. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Oh, that's so funny. I actually didn't read all of your notes right here, but it does say what is a keyword. Yeah. We're still going through the deft. The defts get a -2 attack value with non-attuned 2-handed melee weapons because they're deft. Kind of they incentivize you to use one-handed weapons. If you're going to use a 2-handed weapon, you need to be attuned to it. You get +1 damage, and DF is defense from offhand weapon. If the vocation is combat oriented, we'll get to vocation in a second, because it's technically a separate thing, but it's part of this. Yeah. And you can't use slot abilities or swap positive doubles or double damage if using shield or armor above hard leather, because once again, this is supposed to be like the deft class, supposed to be like lightweight and movable. I don't know. Some of these are a little weird because like if they are really open-ended classes, that could be a deft knight. I mean, I guess I could be using leather. It's just not above hard leather. I don't know. This is the thing.
Yeah. So for those again that aren't looking at YouTube, right, or aren't on our VOD that are on the podcast, the way that this page is laid out is at the top there are 2 big words to say the deft, and then everything that we just went through was an incredibly minimized version of literally just paragraphs of text, paragraphs and paragraphs of text with some italics. And that's it. With some things italics, the only thing bolded on the entire page is special rules for difficulty. And I'm not saying everything has to be bold or anything like that. But what I'm saying is this is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 paragraphs of singles. So no 2 columns, no nothing. Break between stuff. No anything. Of literally just, again, pure data spit out with I don't understand. I've never seen a book written this way. Like, have you literally ever seen a book where it literally is just like, here is like a 15-line paragraph of just it just goes and goes and goes and goes. I don't understand. I feel like I've never seen
Blades in the Dark.
No, dude, I'll even say Blades in the
No,
Dark.
actually, Blades is more lightweight in its writing than this. So
I'll say Blades in the Dark did a much better job because they would actually stop.
Yeah.
They would have explainers and stuff. The problem with Blades in the
That
Dark
is
is
true.
that they I would understand what they were saying right at the beginning, and then they would still explain it for 10 pages. That was a problem with Blades. It's like, I fucking get it, bro.
And
you
again, like 30 pages
book.
later.
Yeah. You wrote a 300-page book that could be 100 pages. I understand. I get it. I know how to play Blades in the Dark. When I finished Blades in the Dark, it was just slogging through 10 pages of trying to figure out if it was important or not. It never was. Just so you guys know out there, it never is. This is literally like, no. So because this is, and then we can move past this, but like, I even want to bring up, these are my fucking notes, right? It's literally 1, 2, 3. It's like 3 big dots with some inner dots in it, and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's like 11 bullet points with some notes bullet pointed in it at all. That is the class. Not only is that done through literally an entire page, top to bottom, in just pure narrative single column text, right? But why does a class have this much shit?
I don't know. What's even funnier is that actually the Strong coming up, which is the next one, actually does have 3 bullet points in the in the paragraph, and they're well used because they explain important things. But yeah, so the next one of our 3 I don't think they're called classes. I can't remember.
They're called classes. Yeah,
they are called classes. Okay,
yeah,
because it's class and invocation. So for class, the next one, the Strong. This is your like warrior, guard, brigands, knight, the person who relies on combat skills and physical prowess. Things that really stand out here are they have special conflict rules.
They have
the player notes
loot.
The player notes how the conflict was special. It should stand out either as I'm
begging you, please skip this. Yeah.
Basically,
I literally wrote my notes for the Strong were fuck no. Like, we're not reading
basically,
this.
These guys get custom looting rules.
Yes.
Which is interesting because, and you put it in your notes here, they're not going to brew potions and shit. They're like the Strong person. So putting custom like loot and substance rules, I don't understand.
So real quick, here it works is the Strong character gets loot, right? And those 3 loot options are special conflict, substance, and supernatural, right?
Right.
Special conflict means that when you beat somebody, you can you get something from them, which is like experience or something. So you learn shit. That's the loot you get from beating someone. You learn shit. Substance is you can harvest something from them, and supernatural is
like an ability. You get like an ability.
You can take an ability. So
the
loot is just something you take from the things that you kill. Right. I just thought substance was weird because I'm like, of all the classes, why is the Strong the one that can harvest poisons and shit from dead bodies? Like, I get it because it's loot, but like between deft, wise, and strong's the last one I would think would have like either the wiseness or the deftness to harvest poison. I just thought it was weird. But I do like the conflict loot one on this where like, because I think in a very story gamey way, I learned something and that's considered loot. Dope. I like that.
Yeah. I like the supernatural ability. Like, you're such a great warrior that you go into combat with something and you win against it. And you're like, that's how it did that. I can do that now too. That one really, the special conflict one, I'm like, that's whatever to me. I think it's fine. The substance one, I don't get. And the supernatural one, I'm like, that's actually a great feature for a combat, like specialized character, you know?
Love that one. Yeah.
Moving on to the wise. The wise is, of course, the hunter class. You can perform miracles, which is very much a catch-all term for anything.
Time out. Hunter means hunter as in the person that's talking, not a hunter as in a person that hunts. Yes.
Yeah. You can perform miracles through arcane negotiation with forces in your environment. This is wizards, cultists, exorcists, magic, and miracle people. Miracles are assigned a wording, characterification, and desired effect are used to triangulate a cost in HP because you do use your HP to fuel your magic. There's a lot of this term triangulation, which is just finding this like center fair point between like the strength of what you were trying to do and what your character is good at doing. I think the wording's fine. I don't have a problem with the triangulation, but they're gonna say it a lot.
I do like the triangulation, and
yes.
once we get through the groups and stuff like that, I think it's really neat. That's something
yes,
I'd like to.
It is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, players say what they want to do. Referee suggests a cost. The player lowers the cost with drawbacks and ingredients. I do like that kind of exchange of like, well, what if a little bit of a drawback, what if a little negative thing, or hey, I have this thing to offer into the ingredient of this to make it more powerful, or make it easier to be more powerful. Further from triangulation means a higher cost. I mean, the triangulation point being where your sweet spot is. You going above that, it's gonna cost you more. Cost guidelines based on magnitudes. There is a table. Reference traditional effects. The magnitude tables, fairly simple. It's 0, simple, standard, major, powerful. And yeah, that's a thing. You may save one, as the wise may save once per day. Spend 10 minutes detecting and using local energies, making a single effect 1 magnitude cheaper. Cool. Cool that you can use the local ley lines to power your magic. I'm always down for shit like that. You can't attempt miracles with initial max cost above current HP because that would kill you. If the cost is set above level, you must save or it doubles. Potion, bombs, scrolls, etc. work the same, but first cost doubles. Permanent magic lowers HP until hit dice are rolled for new level. Makes sense. Your health fuels your magic, so if you have a permanent piece of magic set out, it's going to permanently affect your health. Wise heal HP lost twice as fast, but only in the way that it refers to here. I'm reading the notes, so I'm really skimming the greater thing, but they do heal at double the normal rate of healing, which I think is if you do nothing for 48 hours, you heal fully, but if you don't, on a 6-hour rest, you either roll 2 HP on a success roll or 1 HP on a failed, and we'll talk about what that looks like more later on. Scrolls, anyone can use scrolls, but Wise can slot effects with successfully trained intelligence rolls. They get more as they go, but Wise gets -2 attack value with non-slotted two-handed weapons because they're a magic user. If they are using weapons, they should be slotted. They should be attuned to them. You +2. Which one's SV? Is that save? That's save.
Saves.
Against magic and mind influencing abilities, and +2 HP cost before doubling when using shield or armor above leather. Because if you wear armor, you're bad at magic.
Yeah. So you just read through the Wise. Could you sit at the table and play the Wise right now?
Fuck no, I could not. I have no idea what's going on, honestly. And I fucking read this, dude. And I read these tables, like the levels of traditional magic effect, I think is a fine table. It really guides you on stuff to know. But no, and I also read the wordings part too, and I'm like, okay. That one's pretty easy. It's really just like a descriptor of
But again, my point with the way that this is written is it's written to put the data onto paper, but not written in any way, shape, or form, in any way to actually instruct you on how to play the game. There is no thought in the way that this is written to actually having you understand the words that are written here in a way to actually put the mechanics into action. It's literally just a data set punched out of a computer onto paper. I've never seen a book written this way. I've never seen a book that has not the tiniest bit is written to explain anything. There's no explanation here whatsoever. It's literally an entire page, top to bottom, hundreds of words, just pure rules text with zero stop to help you understand what any of it means or how any of it works. Written in such a way where you don't even know when to pause to double check. Like, it's insane to me. But yeah, do you want to talk about the magnitude and the quality? Because it's not just ley lines. There's actual specific tables and stuff for the energy you're using for spells with your magnitudes and stuff.
So, yeah, magnitudes is it's just how powerful the effect is or what you're doing. Like for 0, it's, your very like trivial hedge magic, slotted scrolls, or simply effect boosted by a limiting condition. The next one's simple. This is a minor harming or healing, illumination, unlocking, very simple stuff. Standard is going to be generating force fields, breathing water, light telekinesis, like, basic stuff.
Yeah.
Major is teleporting, animating dead. Powerful is resurrection. Kind of makes sense. There's the scale of it definitely means a thing and makes sense in a way. Then you have your quality, which is very much the type of magic that you're using and not something that needs to be a roll table. Also, I don't know, quality is a weird descriptor for this because it's really type, right? It's not like quality to me speaks how good it is. I know what they mean by quality. Like I understand it. It's just a weird, well,
Quality is a mechanics term for certain aspects of it too. Like you have to when you're like attacking, and we'll get to that in a little bit, like the quality is like, well, you have to roll like the in between, you have to roll and stuff. So it's just a weird, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. And then levels of traditional magic. This is just more examples like 1 through 10 of like what it would be. It's there. It's really cool.
It's just levels. Like 1 is like the easy little tiny shit, and 10 is literally like world changing shit, and it's 10 levels in between.
And it's really cool. Let me pull this back up. I pulled up something else.
Oh, creating magic words. I said we should just talk about this because I actually really like this.
We should talk about this.
I can go through this if you want, or you can go through it.
So I'm just gonna read it. Writing magical words can be, miracle wording is fun, but it can seem hard. Getting help from your co-players and referee usually does the trick. If not, here are the 5 steps you can follow. So the 5 steps to wording your miracles. The first, create the energy concentration table and pick one concentration to decide what the miracle is mainly about.
Yeah, so that's the table. You just check to see the table. Is it necromancy, summoning information? What is it? Yep.
Yes. And then you decide if your wording is to be broad and costly, but often used. Their example is good. I love using fire magic as the example because it's so easy to grasp. Flames, very broad and easily applicable. Or if it's specific and cheaper, like summon dire beast. That does a thing. That just summons a dire beast. Flames can do a lot of fun things. And then your wording can be the name or title of a summoned creature, which I think is a cool idea. Another option is the name of an item that you're, I guess, summoning or using, or body parts, the all-seeing eye. They also have some other things for like corny rhymes. It doesn't really matter. This is just like the invocation of the spell, more or less. Use the oracle on the next page, perhaps in combination with an idea from the traditional magic effects table. If you have a hard time coming up with them, because there is an oracle table coming up. Boy, I don't like this.
I love this.
Do you really?
I love it. I don't think you understand it, but I think when I explain it, you're going to love it.
I think the thing is, like, it's so nebulous to me. I think it's just the key terminology using like slips off my brain.
I'm gonna run through this real quick, and I think you're gonna love it. Okay. So 1, you check the energy concentratable table and pick a concentration. This is coming up with your magical word, so you're gonna come up with one right now. Okay. All right, you're gonna do this. So number 1.
First up, wait, hold on. Which one's the energy concentration table?
It's one that says energy 4, and then underneath it says energy concentrations at the top of level traditional magic effect.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, pick one of those. Pick one. I don't care. Pick one.
Necromancy.
Okay. 3 is your quality for that. Remember that. So you have necromancy. Write it down somewhere. Necromancy 3. Okay. Number 2, you decide if the wording is going to be broad and costly or specific and cheap. Okay, because don't forget we're triangulating. We're triangulating. So think Necronautilus, right? As your memories were broad, you could do more stuff with it, and as you failed, they got more specific, so you had to do less stuff with it, but they were cheaper, easier to use. Same concept, right?
Totally makes sense to me.
Necromancy.
You've so far have not lost me. Necromancy. We're going to speak with dead.
Okay, speak with dead is mid specific. So speak with dead by your necromancy. Do that. Okay. So your wording can be the name and title of a summoned creature. So you don't need to really worry about this, or flamboyant expression, doesn't matter. So your wording is specifically speak with dead. You've already got number 3 down, right? Okay.
Right.
Number 4, use the oracle on the next page, perhaps in combination with an idea from the traditional magic table. You don't really need to do that, right? If you had a hard time coming up with good words, okay? But on that next table, in the miracle wording tables, there are 4 D20 tables. So that's 100 words that you can roll on as inspiration for coming up with magic words, right? Okay. So then number 5, once you get something decent, eyeball the wording for a moment, forgetting the previous steps. If there are some changes, you can do whatever. So the referee is encouraged to allow minor adjustments. So you have speak with dead right now, and your quality is 3.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So you're roughly going around like level traditional magic effects. Like you're roughly in like a 3 area: blessing, cursing, sensing directions, minor telekinetic stuff. You're like 3 or 4, whatever.
I would agree.
So when you are actually supposed to cast magic, and we'll get to that under the attack and rolls table, right?
Right.
Where we're at now is a triangulation, right? So when you pick your vocation and your group with your wording for your magic word, right? We'll get to vocations of the groups in a second. If you are a wise character, right, and you pick a wizard and you chose necromancy, that is very close to your vocation, right? Mm-hmm. And if your group is the League of Necromancers, that's incredibly close to your group, right? So the cost, which is always your HP, to cast your magic will be cheap as fuck, because it's exactly
I've stayed
what
in
you
line
would know.
With everything. Yes.
But if you pick something that's wise, like Doctor or some shit, and you pick a group that's like the Life People We Hate Dead Magic, right? Like University, your magic is going to be super expensive because it has nothing to do with your vocation and has nothing to do with any groups you have. So it's a triangulation of your class, your vocation, and your group to see how expensive what you want to do is, but you can change it all the time, right? Because so speak with dead is very specific, but if you had just picked like, death, right? You could move that all around that triangulation as much as you want. So yours is a lot easier because it's very specific, but for broad stuff, like 1-word spells, similar to something you might have read before.
Right.
That's going to be all over the place. So sometimes it might be really cheap and sometimes it might be super expensive. So I do like how free form the magic is, but it only makes sense. Yeah, it's terribly written. It only makes sense also though once you pick a vocation in a group too.
Yes. Like we're missing 2 major two major facets of this right now. We're missing for this Great Miracles. I will also say that the reason I didn't realize that was the energy concentration table is because it doesn't say it above it; it says it below it.
Below it, yeah.
But the magnitudes table says magnitudes at the top, and the traditional magic effects table says traditional magic effects at the top.
I hear you.
But I think that and the Oracle thing threw me off because I'm like, but okay, like that's not a step. That's if you feel unable to word, use the Oracle table.
Yes. But that's exactly the whole thing. There aren't 5 steps here. There's like 2.
Yes.
Right? 3 is just 2 says decide your wording. 3 says you can word it this way. But that's just part of step 2. Right? Number 4 does not need to be a step. It should be a box on the side that says, or a thing in parentheses that says, if you're having trouble, check the Oracle. And number 5 should just be double check, talk with your referee, make sure it feels good. It should be 3 steps. Right. And 1 is just check it. So actually coming with a magic word is pick an energy concentration, write down the word. That's how to do it. But it doesn't need 5 steps and a whole page. Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. This is fine. I mean, I do like things about this magic system. I
love the freeformness of it. I thought you would love the freeformness of it.
I mean, I love freeform magic. I love that I can just do whatever kind of magic that I want. I sometimes default to an easy one, but who doesn't, right?
Who doesn't? Yeah.
Okay. So moving on to groups. This is where we kind of get into like character specifics. There are a lot of things that your character is made of beyond just the wise and the deft and the strong. And these add some little particulates that you're better at or good at, or that help with the triangulation of cost of things. So group, everyone gets at least 2, and you write it next to an attribute, and it gives positive double rolls on that attribute roll if the group is applicable. Attributes can have 2 groups. You can move 1 group at every new level. Each attribute of 5 or less gets extra groups because it's a 5 or less and you fucking suck at it and you need all the help you can get. So basically, the group is kind of like what you do in your job within like your...
Kind of. Well, there's 3 different types of groups.
Right.
So what you get is a class and groups, but you pick 3 groups.
Perfect. And
groups is the overarching.
Yeah.
Is overarching. Yeah.
The overarching to the underarching to another overarching thing. There's a lot of different realms of arches in this. And species. Hey, you know what species is? It's your character species. What type of thing is your character? This is chosen the character creation. It can have physical and cultural traits. And it's written by 2 attributes. And also, at the DM's discretion, it can be, or the referee's discretion, sorry. It can be used to negatively affect your character. If you only have 1 parent in your backstory, though, you only get 1 attribute, which I guess. What if you're an orphan?
To me, again, I really like these. And I think it's just because I read them so much and summarized them so much that it makes sense, because you have to just ignore 90% of it.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Basically, what it says is
I don't think it's bad. I think this is too many things. I think we're getting into the realm of too many things. I don't hate this, but then we're going to go to vocation next. And it's just too many things. But
basically, if we break all of this down, right, and keep it and push it a little bit more OSR, right?
Mm-hmm.
Roll 3d6. You roll your stats. What's your highest stat? Let's say what kind of character you want to be? A wise stat?
Yeah.
Or like you want to be a wizard? The highest stat you happen to roll is, we'll call it wisdom.
Yeah.
All right. You with me now in the OSR section?
Actually, it's willpower. So.
Oh, willpower, right? And then the next thing you're going to do is pick your race.
Right.
Go human, right?
I'm a moon elf.
Okay, so you are a moon elf with high wisdom right now. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to pick your class. We'll call it that. We'll call it class. And you go wizard, right?
Right.
Okay, that's your vocation. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to spice up your wizard a little bit by picking a school of magic, but specifically not like the type of magic. I mean, a school of magic. The Camelot School of Magic or whatever, right? Who happens to focus on necromancy. That is all this is. I think that is exactly the same thing.
But when you say it like that, it sounds like a lot less stuff.
It is.
I mean, basically what's happening is that you're making a broad character with stats, and then your groups, your species, and your vocation, you tag next to your stats. And whenever those come into play, you are better at rolling that thing. You roll a double positive.
That is it.
That's all that this is. And I know that internally, but every time I read this, I forget where I am and I'm very confused by it. But from a mechanical point of view, you just have a bunch of stats with tags next to them that you can use when applicable to make rolls easier. And this is how you customize a character. But see how much simpler it is when we say it like that.
Yes. And that is literally what you said is exactly it. Because if you actually go to the group section, because I think you jumped over that a little bit, and the groups, everyone gets 2 groups.
Right.
Right. At least 2. But if you pick a different species, you get 3, right? You write the next to the attribute, you write the groups next to an attribute, and it gives you an advantage if that's applicable. The attributes can have, each attribute can have 2 groups written next to it, and then each attribute of 5 or less, you get an extra group. So if you roll and your willpower is 4, you get another group. But if that ever goes above 4, you lose a group. So basically all it is exactly the character thing that I set up. But if your group, which means if your species, your affiliation, or your vocation, if your job,
I'm
your
part
species,
of the International Lawnmowers Union.
Yes. And if you got to mow a lawn, you get advantage. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So it's a very overly complicated, terrible way of basically taking the standard OSR style of play and macroing it out to remove all aspects of setting specificity so that you can drop it onto, it basically becomes a template that you can drop onto any setting, which I can tell you right now, I could think of 50 people that could write what I just said a million times easier than how it's written in this book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how this game works. Is it's very broad, archetypal removal of all specificity, so you can drop it anywhere, and it's just pure rules language that you can adapt in anything that you want. And all you do is pick a class, a species, a job, and so homies you hang out with, and then you have a character.
We should. I'm gonna hack this game. I'm gonna call it the Blanco hack.
Yeah, and just I don't know, just rewrite it all.
Oh, I'm not gonna change a single thing. I'm just gonna rewrite it all.
So there's a notebook edition of this game too that I was like, oh, dope. I'll look at that because maybe that's just a whole rules reference version. No, it's just got blank pages, so you can write in your own like campaign journal into it.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. So funds and equipment, I think, is where we are. We touched on vocation. Y'all get it. It's a thing that it's wizard was my vocation, right?
Yeah.
Wise is the class, and then the vocation, your job is, could be whatever. It could be, pig farmer. I think that actually is an example. Maybe
it's wizard is the example.
As pig farmer was an example. I feel like that was somewhere. Yeah. And so
the only thing vocation specifically gives you is anytime that you're using your vocation, you can attempt any normal thing that would make sense for a wizard to do, you just get to do. But then anything that's like almost impossible, you get to do a regular roll for.
Yeah.
You get to do a regular roll for. Basically, it's just one up on the success chart.
Did we not talk about this earlier?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
And then affiliations are just the homies. They're just groups, and they give you shit. That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Guilds, tribes, all that stuff. Yeah. So funds and equipment. This uses the default CR for crown, but obviously if you have a sci-fi or futuristic, you could use credit. It doesn't really matter. It's once again, it's a generic term. Yeah, so this is a gear buy system. Oh yeah, there's a weird roll mechanic for this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You have to succeed on a task roll, and if not, you just get a default amount.
Right.
I do like it.
I don't hate it. Yeah. So you roll a d20 under or equal to a save value, or to your
best attribute.
To your save. To get your best attribute times 10 as starting crown for equipment buy. And if you fail this roll, you just hit 3d6 times 10.
Which could theoretically be higher.
It could theoretically be higher. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, statistically, it probably won't be higher than your highest stat. But cool. I like that. Works really well.
I like it.
There is equipment prices and stuff on page 61. Encumbrance, you're allowed to carry 10 regular items, plus 5 in a backpack. There's heavy items count as 2. Minor objects count as half. Coins and gems and things, 100 of them can be slotted into one slot. Yeah. And then it limits your movement if you go above your, encumbrance rules. Yeah. And then defense value. Yep. It's not a value.
You just mark it down. You just mark it down. If it's 5, it's 5. There you go.
Yeah. It's your armor. Cool. Very cool.
And we'll get to armor in the core rules. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's gear list. There's gear here for you to buy. Yeah. Languages. Everyone speaks common, which is just good. Plus species language. You can get extra from various sources. Group language. I think that one's a cool one because I love the idea of thieves can't, or like carved in symbols to places. You can get a bonus for having a high intelligence. And then the rare class clever also gives you a bonus. Language. Identities and saves. Yeah. So you add a color to a character's save by giving it a double-edged modulation. These are keywords, actually. It doesn't call them that. But a word or a phrase like gambler, old, not on my watch, or whatever, guardian ancestor. This affects some of the character's saves, either improving or diminishing her chances. It also adds character. This is basically like a character flaw or feature of your character that you can use occasionally or might work against you in certain saves. It is flavor for your character.
It's flavor. So this is, I think, is I don't know if Christian is Swedish first in the language, but by color, they mean like add character to, which means
that's what they mean by color.
Substitute flavor instead of color there, and all of this makes so much more sense. You're just flavoring your character. You're giving him something cool. You're adding in something that, like, narratively, you can the referee can say that you might get advantage or disadvantage because of later. Old will sometimes give you advantage because you're experienced. You're a wizened old man. You've been there before. It also might give you disadvantage because everyone's going to run a mile. Yeah, because you're old. That's all that they mean there is add flavor, write a cool keyword next to write a tag, one might call it, even though I never would. That's all that means.
I love tags.
I hate the word tag. Just call them keywords. That's all that means.
I think that's good too. It's fine.
Dope. I love it.
I think
love it.
So much of this is actually good or fine. It's just like, I mean, I don't know. I understand a lot of this fine. And talking with you, I'm like, okay, wait, no. Okay, I got it.
Yes. That's the problem with this entire book is I think I would really like it, but I know I will never play this game because I will not sit down to parse it.
Yeah. I would not only that.
I won't.
I'm not going to put my table through parsing this out because they're going to have to read this too.
No, because what I would need to do to get people to play this is I would need to rewrite the entire book in a way that's actually understandable and then hand it to my players. And I'm not taking that time. I've already written the summary. And the thing too is why are Milton and Madison writing rule summary? Why isn't there one in the book for all this shit? Anyway, all right.
I mean, it's a 10-year-old game. Maybe they just haven't had time.
Yeah. Yeah. Core rules. We're gonna breeze this quick. We're gonna hit a bunch of them and then we're gonna move on. There is some really cool stuff in the beginning of this that I really, really like. I do want to read some of the introduction to this. I think again, this is where a lot of it. One of the things I love about this game is like the thought behind it, the intent behind it is fantastic. What they're trying to do is great. The way that they communicate it is very poor, in my opinion. But what they want to do is great. And I feel like once you understand it, it's really cool. It's really fun. Again, it's the OSR if you throw in some story game elements and then pull it back to macro just as a rule set, not as a game, but just as a rule set that is a template that you can overlay any setting that you want. If you think of it that way and then use a lot of the intent that the designer writes into a lot of these introductions, this is really, really interesting and fantastic. Again, I just think it's communicated poorly, and I think the longer this goes, it's going to get more and more poorly communicated because I feel like, again, this is somebody that's been staring at the same rule set for 10 years that understands it intimately and has forgotten how someone who's never read it before will read it for the first time. That's, I think, the crux of the issue here is that they understand this just, again, 150 pages of just pure data that is sprung out there, but cannot fathom someone who's never looked at it before understanding it. So I do want to go through some of the core rule stuff, and then we'll go through that. So before learning the system, it should be stressed that knowing when to not use dice is just as important as knowing when and how to use them. Think of the dice as the rule and the rules as another participant, one that also has to say in how things play out, but who doesn't get more spotlight than anyone else at the table. For example, if your character comes to a dead end and starts looking for a hidden door that her map says is there, the solution is not a roll to see if she finds something. Tell the referee where she looks, and if it is the right spot, she finds it. Well, I want to punch people in the throat if the second they encounter an issue, they ask if they can roll the dice. It makes me rage. Just play a game. It's a game of imagination. All right.
This is a great part, actually.
Yeah. That's what I wrote. That's what I'm saying. Or if the party happens, I don't need a second one, right? So doing this makes it possible for you to be or get good at the game. Get good, right? It's a skill issue. Get good. Yeah. If you just roll dice, none of your skill or lack of it can come into play. Then again, you should be able to play a character who is good at things that you are bad at too. For example, if you like riddles, but you can never figure them out, a die roll for your wise explorer's intelligence could give you a solid clue. That way you're able to understand it. That's what the dice are for, right? The referee adjudicates the game, right? And the dice help make those decisions with the rest of the players and referee in a conversation. Right? In Whitehack, the space between dice and player skill is where the referee rules on difficulty and where the character's group's abilities and miracle wordings come into play. It is also when an emergent game world can grow, where emergent game world can grow. This doesn't make the game loose. The increasing number of precedents will pull system, setting, and gaming group together like tightening a screw. That paragraph is the best paragraph in this entire book. It's amazing.
It really is.
It is exactly it's emergent gameplay is what this is supposed to be. Like as you run into a ruling, you rule on it, and now it's a rule for your table. As a group can alter the way the world works the first time you interact with it because you have defined an aspect of the world with it. That is what this game is saying in an incredibly roundabout way. So anyway, we're gonna cruise through the game. If you guys haven't already noped out, thank you for sticking around with us because we already did. Thanks. I'm coming up on the point where I literally threw this book away from you for the first time. Experience. Guess what? You can get it. Teachers, schools, libraries, churches, all that. You can get it, right? This is literally the line that I noped out on. When training is access to learning resources and opportunities to reflect gains 1 XP per spent crown. When training is supplied by an affiliation group, there's a 10% XP bonus, and a tenth of the payment is also regarded as part of any member fee or tax. I slammed it shut and threw it on my bed and said, I'm done for the day. I was like, you literally just got done saying that it's emergent and all this other shit, and now you're telling me XP per CR per 10% XP bonus per tenth of pay to affiliation group? I'm done. I'm fucking done. That was the first nope out for me right there. I chewed all the way through character creation, ripped my hair out. I got to there and said, I can't do core rules today too. Right? Whatever. XP. You pay for it. You can, teachers and groups you can learn things from them. That's it.
Great.
XP also comes from quests and killing monsters. Boom, obviously done. Boom. All right. Save by experience. This is a very weird section because this literally is just how saves work. I don't know why it's called save by experience, but this is a saving throw section. It's weirdly placed and the header is weirdly worded. That's where my notes were. It would be better placed in the next section. The task roles, skills, and quality. Just put saves in there too. It'd be better placed in there, and I do think that's where it is in 3. I might not be wrong. Basically, you roll a d20 less than or equal to your save value, and if it's success, and that's your save, and that's a success. D20 roll under and a save. Resistance and vulnerability, use advantage and disadvantage. That's it. You can be resistant to shit. You can be vulnerable to shit. That's it. A save, D20 roll under. Boom. You got it. Good job. Task rolls, skills, and quality. Okay. So a task roll is literally just D20 roll under. Roll under, it's equal to or under an attribute. That's how it works. The face value of a successful die can indicate the quality of success. Okay, so the higher the successful value, the better. So basically what this says is roll under, but as close to the number you're trying to get as possible, right? And a crit is if you hit the exact number, right? So if your attribute's 14 and you roll a 14, boom, you crit, right? If your save is, or the save is, right? If your save is 14, you roll a 13, you do it really fucking good.
Yeah, right? Super high quality, like
exactly. But if you say that regardless of difficulty, if the save is supposed to be a 14, you roll like a 5, you do it, might not look too pretty. That's how the shit works. It's mixed success narratively. That's all it is. Difficulty.
I did like this rule when I was first coming across. I was like, oh, this is cool. I love D20 roll under, but I often feel like it's missing that like degrees of success, essentially. I also love critting when you hit the stat on the dot. I think it's a great way to deal with critting on D20 roll under. And I really do. The first time I read the quality of success, I was like, that's just another thing for me to worry about in this game that already feels busy in my head. But like, I do really like that rule.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like I just thought that that's how all the games worked, but apparently they don't. And if you're not going to do something like this, do it like Max Lander does in Himbos. Yeah. Their degrees of success are fantastic. Himbos is always the one I go back to where
I'm like, that's a great way to deal with like having mixed success.
Fantastic. Higher is better, blah. I wrote, there's little to no explanation of what quality, crit, and fumble actually mean or look like. So obviously we know what the crit and the fumble looks like, but like not to any degrees. Basically they said, like, I get that a lower quality, right? But what's the difference between a 1 and a 2 then? You know? Yeah, a crit fail versus like the worst possible fail, that's not a crit. There's no, again, there are no, guess what? If it's an examples of play, that was 48 pages ago. I'm not, what? Right? Difficulty, help, and extreme scores. Okay, so difficulty means that situations that are more difficult or easier than normal may subtract or add 2 or more to the attribute used. Basically, +2, -2, right? That's if something's difficult or not, right? Extreme scores are scores rolled below 1, so you can't ever do that. Any points above 20 may be added to the quality of success. So this is one of the things that bothers me, right? So specifically written in that it says, any points above 20 may be added to the quality of success you crit on 19, okay? Every other time so basically if you roll over 20, okay, you can add it's called surplus everywhere else in the game except for in the spot that specifically states the fucking rule, including the example of play and auctions, which uses the same rule. Everywhere else in the game calls it a surplus. The spot here in the section explaining how it works does not call it a surplus. Come on. And if you go over a 20, because you can't, your attributes can't be over 20. Like basically if you somehow roll like a 24 or whatever, you crit on a 19 because it has to hit the exact number. That's all it means. Right. So again, I looked later, I tried to figure out what the fuck a surplus was. And then I came back and realized, any points above adding to the quality of success is the surplus, even though it doesn't say surplus here. Come on. You can help. I don't know how, but apparently you can help because it talks about helping. In this section, it literally says, like when a character gets help from others, that is a rule. That's a rule right there. This is what I'm talking about. I'm going to read this for the homies on the thing. So, if the referee decides the task is more difficult than what is normal for its type, like moving silently up a very creaky stair, or if it is easier, like when a character gets help from others, she may tell the player to subtract or add 2 or more to the attribute used in the task roll. That is the help rule. No italicized, no bold, no even, like when a character gets help from others is the help rule. What? Now help exists in the rule set, apparently. Come on. Skills, trained rolls, and pairs. So skill is when written next to an attribute, groups provide positive doubles, right? So if you have a skill, it's when a group is next to an attribute, when it is applicable, when the group is applicable to what you are doing, you roll with advantage. Boom. Easy peasy, right? Trained roll is the same thing. Some tasks require proper training to complete. If there's a relevant group somewhere on the table, anywhere, it doesn't need to be next to the attribute you're rolling for. But if somewhere on there is a group that is applicable to what you're doing, so say you're rolling strong and you need to pick a lock and you have the lock picking academy written as somewhere on there, right? You have a trained roll then. So then you can actually roll to attempt a task. A regular task is used, right? If it's next to the relevant attribute, you get advantage. Okay, so if it requires a trained roll, it has to be somewhere on your sheet or you can't even do it. And if it is next to the attribute you're using, you get advantage. Easy peasy, right?
Easy.
If you have no relevant groups and you're trying to do a trained roll, you roll with disadvantage. That's it. So you either have disadvantage, a regular roll, or advantage, depending on if you have any training in it at all. So you can do anything you want, but if you're not trained at all, it disadvantage. Pairs, rolling a pair in a successful positive double result is an additional benefit. Basically, if you roll 3 and 3 on your advantage roll, you like it's doubles. You get special stuff. It's like a 60% chance anyway. Yeah, that's it. Contests. I literally wrote just read it. That's what I wrote next to it because my goodness. Okay. It's pretty short. In contests, the parties roll and compare their results. The better result category wins. Okay. This is fine. It makes fine sense, right? So while being in the same category counts as a tie, I don't know why they're called categories, right? But basically says the order from best to worst is successful positive pair, crit, success, failure, fumble, failed negative pair. So basically what they're saying is that it doesn't matter what you roll,
as long as you
matters the category you roll in. Basically, it's like poker. This is basically saying that like a full house is better than
that's
two
exactly
pair.
what I thought about this when I was reading. It's like, oh, okay, so full house, better than four of a kind, and whatever, you know.
So that's what matters. It doesn't matter. And then it says for a more granular comparison, you can let the higher roll win within each category. So you can actually technically roll higher somehow. I don't know. But basically, it's a list of the best possible ways you can roll dice, categorized, and whichever one you get in, regardless of the number, if it's a higher on the category of type of roll you can roll, you win. Versus just being like, you roll 2d6, I roll 2d6, and whoever rolls highest wins. Why wouldn't you just do that? Let's do it the super complicated way.
So I have a question about this. This is a roll under system.
Yes.
So for a positive pair, you would need to roll 2 dice under.
Oh, you mean in contest or in regular?
In contests.
Oh, in contest, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You're going against each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, you're just rolling like that's how I read this. This isn't a task roll; it's a contest roll. So you roll 2, I roll 2, and then we figure out: did I fumble?
On
did
that
I fail?
hierarchy of right, and then if we both rolled positive pairs, and I rolled 2 18s and you rolled 2 4s, I went out.
It would still have to be a task roll because it specifically says success, fumble, everything like that. So we're still you're right. We do have to roll
My
against each
original
other's
interpretation
ability.
is right.
Yes.
So when it says higher, if you rolled double 5s, which passes you for the task, and I rolled double 3s, which passed me for the task, who wins that one? You do?
So as written, it's the same category. So technically, it would be a tie, right? But it says for a more granular comparison, the higher roll within the category wins. So I would win on the 5-5s.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just thinking like roll under, it always incentivizes you to go low, but this one is roll under, but also the higher you go under, the better the quality is. So I'm just making sure the logic stays linear through it, and it does.
The next thing says, note that contestants may have or lack groups and can use different things. So it says sometimes you don't even have to roll the same attributes. 2 parties trying to convince a third might use different things. One using logic, another using charm. So I would roll logic, you would roll charm. But again, it's a D20 roll under system, so it's just against ourselves, basically. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like a success for me and a success for you are different.
I take no issue with that. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
This
options.
next one,
fucking terrible. Hate it with my entire being. Hate everything about it. Don't understand it. You remember when we read Azag and they basically turned social rules into, was it poker? No, blackjack.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And we were like, going over.
Yeah. Yeah. Blackjack. Yeah. So we were like, this is neat. I wouldn't use it, but there are social rules here and people that want social rules. That's cool.
And I understood that one.
Yes. This, honestly, I don't understand. And then the thing that drives me the most,
it's so out of left field.
It's insane. And the thing that gets me too is like one of the things that it talks about is how it's like so much easier, and like I can't even remember what it is. Like it's super cool because it's easier. Auctions are cinematic and time saving. I'm like, how is engaging?
Dude, they're not fucking time saving.
That's what I don't understand.
Process.
I don't understand it because you're bidding. Yes. Okay, so this is how auctions work. Auctions work. Because I literally read this. I read the example auction. I read all of it, and I'm like, this is not cinematic. You're engaging with the dice completely away from the narrative, but occasionally talking about the narrative within the context of the dice. Dude, I literally wrote, this is a fucking minigame. Where did I write it on here?
Oh, you did. It's a fucking minigame.
I wrote, it's a fucking minigame. It would completely destroy all momentum and immersion. That was my note on the page here. So this is how auctions work. fuck the screen over there. I'm bringing my notes. Okay. So everyone rolls a d6, right? And adds it to the attribute you're trying to roll. Okay. So let's say willpower for you doesn't matter, right? So say your base willpower is like 12. Okay.
Right.
Roll a d6, you get a 3. You hide that number, right? But your number is a 15. Okay. Okay. So this is a number you have to roll under to win. So if your number is 12 and you rolled a 3, your number is a 15. Okay. The first person makes a bid. A bid is the number you must roll over to win. So you have to roll in between, right? Okay.
Right. Yes.
So your high end is 15.
Yeah.
So now you're bidding. Tell me a number that you think that you can get over. So say you pick 3. You're saying that you're going to get over 3, but under 15.
Right. So I wouldn't pick 1 because the person who picks 1.
Wait. I'll get to that. I'll get to that.
So yeah, I'll say 3 then. Yeah, I got to roll above a 3, but below my secret number.
Your secret number, right? So now the next person can bid, and everyone goes around saying, well, I bid 4, I bid 5, I bid 6. So basically you're narrowing the scope, you're narrowing the band in which you could win. Okay. There is a bid called a 1 bid where someone can just say 1. That is it. Okay. But the only time you can do that is on your first or last one. So basically if someone says 1 bid, they're done. They're done bidding. And then everyone can keep going until someone decides that they win. Okay. Eventually, let's say that somebody over there picked 1 and I say 8.
Yeah. Right? A crazy 10.
I win with an 8. Okay. So then after we're all done, I bid an 8, you bid a 3, they bid a 1. Okay. So now I have to show my dice, say it's a 4. Okay. And my stat's a 14. So now I have to roll between an 8 and an 18 in order to win the auction. Okay. So I roll and I fail. Okay. Now you are the next highest bidder. So now you have to roll between a 3 and a 15. Say that you fail. This asshole, the 1 bid, basically the 1 bid is the Price is Right. This is $1.
Yeah.
So they hope that everyone else goes too high and fails.
Yeah.
And then they get it. Right. But here's the problem is if you go to the auction example, right, it is an example of 2 people chasing somebody.
Uh-huh.
Okay. 2 people, you and me both chasing 1 person.
Uh-huh. That's exactly when I would use this rule.
Right. So here's the thing is we're bidding against each other, right? But if either of us fail, we both fail because as a group, that means that person gets away. Right?
Yeah. Right. So I understand what you're saying.
So why would we bid against each other, pushing the number up so that one of us fails and we both lose the person?
I don't know. I mean, that's a crazy example for this one. It is an insane example, but I think the more insane thing is that this rule exists.
It's ridiculous because honestly, in that example, people are gonna be like, "Well, you have to buy into the narrative of the game." I don't want to play fucking biddy blackjack. Like this is poker. Like I don't want to I don't want to bluff poker bullshit. Also, to do narrative.
The example isn't a contest, by the way. It would be a contest if the person we were chasing was also part of the bidding, perhaps.
No. Contests and auctions are 2 different sections, bro. Contests are you versus me. Auctions is a whole separate thing.
The auction, not the contest. This would be more of an auction if everyone was including the guy running.
Because what an auction is basically taking the place of a skill challenge. And then as you bid, somehow you're supposed to like feed narrative into your bids to make it cinematic. And I'm like, no, it's not. You're playing a mini game. You're stopping the game to pretend to play another game. And then again, in the example of play, at the end, they literally go, so wait a minute, if one of us loses, we both lose. And like, yeah. And then they like up the bid or some shit. And I'm like, so then realistically, what you would do is just, we would both 1 bid. So we both, so like one of us succeeds. Why would we even try? Like, why would we bid up Because, and then basically, again, in the example, it's like, oh, well, like, basically, then you're bidding on how bad you are at running after somebody to make your bid harder narratively. Yeah, no, I know. So, yeah, that's auction. Fuck that.
Right.
Tactics and auction, don't do it. Extended auction use, don't. That's how I say it.
We can just
common special cases, all right? Picking a lock, sneaking or hiding, searching. There's rules here for those things. Common special things, right? That's it, right? Traps can be handled like locks. This is an agility roll to disarm. There you go. Stuff like that works. You got picking a lock, sneaking or hiding, searching, traps, bashing a chest or door, pushing a stuck door. That's it. Time and movement. Guess what? Time exists. It's fine, right? Around. Oh my gosh, look, it's actually bolded with an R next to it, as all keywords should fucking be. Around is 10
interesting
seconds.
At this part, like occasionally at random it has it laid out like it's actually rules.
Like a real rule, like real rules, like actually real rules. This is how the whole fucking book should be. I'm just getting mad now. Minutes, hours, months, years, whatever. Around is that. So 1R and combat round, there's actions. You can quaff a potion and do stuff. D6 rounds is basically what the quote unquote like turn is or whatever now. So if you want to get something out of your backpack, pick a lock, do whatever, you just roll D6, how many rounds it takes for you to do it. 10 minutes is fight, loot, rest, do whatever you want. 60 minutes is like burning a regular torch, whatever. It's time. There's time listed. It's fine. There's travel times listed based on bad weather and night travel and plains and mountains. Guess what? That's there. Indoor movement. Guess what? There's a movement table. It exists. It's roughly what you think it would be. And it's listed by humans, things smaller than humans. If you're crawling, if you're normal weight, if you're encumbered, either heavy, severe, or massively encumbered, it's like the distance you can go. So 30 feet or 6 squares if you're a normal human, and 10 feet or 2 squares if you are a small, massively encumbered person. That's it. There you go. Straining and boosting movement. This one's kind of interesting. Strength roll while carrying a heavy or worse load. Basically, if you are encumbered, you can try to roll a strength check in order to basically boost yourself and strain yourself to move faster while encumbered, right? On a success, you move as 1 category lighter within the current time unit. So if you're trying to do like an hour, for an hour, you get to, instead of being severely encumbered, you'll just be heavily encumbered. You get to move up on the chart 1, right? But if you fail the next time unit, again, if you're using hours, then for the next hour afterwards, you tried and failed and you're just burnt out. You can't move at all. That's the problem with trying to strain. Then we're hitting combat. Here we go. Combat, it happens. Attitudes and parlay. Yeah, basically, the GM decides how people feel about you, right? There's a reaction table. Furious, hostile, negative, neutral, positive, happy. It's there. Boom. It's a 3d6 table if you want to roll it, or they just decide. Initiative and surprise. Guess what? GM decides if you have surprise, right? If you're going to roll initiative, it's d6, and it can be modified by agility. There are earlier rules where, especially in the deft section, where having increased agility gives you bonuses. So if your agility is over 13 or more, at base you get a +1 bonus. That's not this rule. That's just in the game text somewhere. I don't remember it.
Somewhere.
If it's 16 or more, you get a +2. So your agility is just a d6 roll, unless your status higher than 13 or 60, and then it's d6 +1 or d6 +2. That's it, right? And then if it's tied, it goes into this old BX style, whichever like action type you're doing gets to go first. So missiles go first, then melee. Missiles beat melee, light beats heavy, drawn beats undrawn. So if everyone rolls like a 4 instead of re-rolling, if 2 people are on 4 and I'm trying to shoot you and you're trying to hit me, I get to shoot you before you try to hit me. I kind of like that. I dig that a little bit because we're not altering our actions based on it. We're going at the same time. It's just that one will beat the other. Me hitting you with an arrow will happen before you run across the room and punch me. You know what I mean? That's it. If you hold, you can actually, for an entire turn doing nothing, you can then change your initiative to a 6 because your initiative stays. If you roll a 3, it's a 3. But if you hold for an entire round, you can move it to a 6. if you want to metagame it, everyone can just say fuck it for a round and all be 6s, and then all get to go first. But then you're last, but then you're first and you're last. So it doesn't really matter. It's just if you have a shitty initiative and you want to be the one that goes at the beginning of the round, you can do that. You can always hold to lower your initiative, and if you do, you go before the next person, or like as they act, you can be like, before they do that, I do this thing. Boom, that's it. If you're surprised, you can only move and ready weapons. You can't take an action, and you don't even roll until the next round. That's it. That is initiative and surprise. Moving on to attacking. So attacking is just D20. You add or subtract any bonuses or penalties to the character's AV and make a task roll. It's just a standard task roll. So less than or equal to your attack value, right? But to hit, the roll must also be successful and exceed the target's defense. So if my attack value is 15 and the character's defense is 5, I have to roll under 15 but higher than a 5. Boom. That's it. That's how attack rolls work. Perfect. Love it. Yeah. It's a roll over under system, right? Legacy armor systems. There's a chart here that basically looks like a Thaco chart. My notes for this were, no. So we're moving on. Action steering around. Action steering around. So, oh shit. I grabbed the wrong thing.
No one look at the man behind the curtain. Close your eyes.
Good thing it's so well hyperlinked, because I can just go.
It is very well
hyperlinked. Quick to combat. Attack steering around. All right, let me grab my notes. I'm gonna drag this over. Okay, so an attack. Okay, so there are a series of things that you can do while you attack. Okay, you can make an attack, you can make an average move, sometimes modified, and you can small action. So for those that have played the most PR game in the world or whatever, basically you get an attack, you get an additional action, and then you get like a bonus action. Okay, so attack, secondary action, bonus action, right? I'm sorry, you get an attack, a move, and a bonus action. Okay, they're interchangeable, but only left to right. Okay, right? So that means that, like, for example, if you can sacrifice an attack to make 2 moves in a small action, because your move, an attack means basically 2 moves, and a move could be 2 small actions, but it can't go backwards. You can't exchange small action for move or move for an attack. Like it has to go left to right. So you can always sack an attack to do 2 moves, or 2 moves, or a move to do 2 small actions, basically. Fine. Action economy, I like it. I like the options that you don't get whatever. I might even steal that. That's really neat. Melee and reach, it exists. 5 feet, 10 feet. Who cares? This is ask you what I'm talking about. Reach, no reach. Okay, dope. Okay, now I get it. 5 feet is the slashes, 10 feet is the slashes, whatever. Free attacks and disengaging. People get them. Fighting takes focused. If you literally do fucking anything, you get yourself open to a free regular attack, which is basically an opportunity attack, right? Regardless of turn, regardless of anything, but people have a set number of these free attacks. Strong makes 2, everyone else gets 1, and then you're done. So basically it's opportunity attack, strong gets 2. Done. Missile attack specifics. Attacks with ranged weapons get a -1 AV for each increment above the weapon's range, right? So every weapon has a range, and if you go above that range, -1, all the way up to max of a 4, in order to try to hit. If you fire into a melee, right, you have to exceed the defense value by +4, or you hit somebody else. Boom. That's it. That's how it works. Crits and fumbles, they exist. You roll on them. Crits do double damage, stacking with def double damage, and if you roll 1 on a damage die, or 1 or a 2 on a boss fight, you get to also roll on the crit table. And then fumbles roll on a fumble table. That's it. Boom. That's how that works. Cool. Combat advantage. This is one I'm like, which one's X, which one's O, whatever. Basically, if you find yourself in combat advantage, right? By the way, combat advantage has been mentioned about 5 times before this, and most of the time it never referenced where the fuck combat advantage is. If you find yourself in combat advantage, it's not actually advantage. Like, as we know it, it's not positive double rolls. It's just a +2 to your armor, to attack value and damage. So +2 to hit and damage if you find yourself with combat advantage, and it stacks all the way up to double or triple. So +2, +4, +6. That's what you can get with it. And this basically is telling you that you also get it what flanking looks like if you have reach, which means your circle is one more square away from your X. Boom, good job. Conditions and concentration, they exist. They suck. If you have one, it's bad for you. Good job. Okay. Basically, the referee interprets unregulated cases using combat advantage, free attacks, and stuff like that. So there's no explainer for it. If someone's blinded, you just decide what that means. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. And then the referee, the referee dictates what that means based using free attacks, combat advantage, extra damage, stuff like that, how that works. That's fine. Boom. Good job. Okay. Special combat options. They exist. Charge, defend, fight offensively, grapple, trick. The thing I love most about this is that it's not hidden behind feats. It's not class specific. Anyone can do these things. They're fucking great. Charge, run 15 at somebody in a straight line, and you get -2 to their defense value and -1 to save versus special attacks on your next turn. Love it. Great. Good job. Grappling, pressing, protecting, all that's great. Weapons and armor, guess what? They exist. Every weapon does D6, and it's either +1, +2, or -1, -2, or a flat D6. Love it. It's amazing. There's special features that go with it.
I'm super okay with this part. You know, like it keeps numbers very consistent. Like especially in this, your HP is fairly low, so a +1 is meaningful. -2 is meaningful. Yeah.
And then you get things like two-handed, D6 -2 damage in melee for a javelin. So there's special features, right? It also gives you a weight next to it. So there's regular, and then like medium or heavy, something like that. Basically like one-handed or two-handed or some minor or heavy. It's regular, minor, or heavy.
Gotcha.
There's a range, and then there's a rate of fire, and then there's crowns, how much it costs. The rate of fire is interesting. So basically, let's take, for example, the crossbow. It says 1/2. Okay, so if we scroll down in the rules a little bit to rate of fire, which is this not a box at the bottom. Again, this is written like a novel or a textbook. So it's literally like it's written as if it's like when there's like a little comma, 1 comma, you know, like down at the bottom. I don't remember. Like a citation. It's like a citation.
Yeah.
So it says minor means there's 2 can fit in 1 slot, so it's a small item. Regular is 1 slot and heavy is 2 slots. Rate of fire is a rate of fire in shots and then rounds. So fire in the first round, then spend any remaining rounds reloading. So basically for like crossbow, it says 1/2. So you fire in a round, but it takes 2 rounds to reload. Okay. For
as opposed to musket, which is you fire a round, it takes 4 rounds to reload.
4 rounds of reloading, exactly. So that's exactly what that means. I like that. It's interesting. I think it's cool. Armor, it goes from cloth at 1, leather, hard leather, chainmail, split mail, full plate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then shield gives you a +1. So if you have chainmail at 4 with a shield, your armor value is 5. So when things are trying to hit you, they hit above your defense value of 5. That's it. Boom. Good job. Done. Damage, HP, and death. It's right there. There's consequences to it. When a character is hit, you roll damage, subtract it from current harm. If HP is still positive, nothing happens, but the character is closer to getting in real trouble. If HP is 0 or negative, use the table below. At 0, you're knocked out until you're healed. -1, you're also injured. -2 to -9, you also have to save or die in D6 rounds, and -10, instant death. So if you ever go -10, you're dead. That's it. A successful first aid attempt stops bleeding. There you go. Save against incoming damage. So this is the thing that everybody gets. Once per battle, anybody can try to make a successful save, right? Reducing the incoming damage by D6, which at low levels can literally save your fucking life. Everyone can do this. That's how it works. If the save fails, you take full damage and you are dazed from the attempt, which means until after your next turn, you can't do shit except move 5 feet and everyone has combat advantage against you. That's it. Boom. Good job.
Also, hey, shout out it being bolded and bullet pointed. You know,
crazy how that works, and you can actually understand what this fucking means, right? Healing. Basically, it sucks. It sucks to get hurt. This game is brutal.
It does. Yeah. It's the healing is pretty minor and brutal, and you know, although the wise heal better. You know.
Yeah. So basically, it says a character who has not gone below 0 HP will restore all harm points within 48 hours of rest. I want to point something out too. All harm points completely after 48 hours of rest. It is not a healing rate. Rate is italicized. That means it's important, right? But a static side effect of prolonged rest. and isn't affected by wise, expedited healing rules. So healing at base is not a rate. Remember that.
Gotcha.
So basically, if you did not go below 0 in combat after 48 hours of rest, fully healed. Otherwise, it's 1 HP every evening and morning, so it's 2 HP a day. Or you can have 2 HP if you succeed on a toughness roll. And then you can also bind wounds to reduce 1d6 minus 3 HP if you are trained in something that helps you bind wounds and you succeed. But fumbling causes 1 HP. Injuries and disadvantage. So if you hit negative HP, you get an injury. That is equivalent to carrying 5 extra items. So basically, it takes up inventory slots, right? And
that's a lot of inventory slots too.
Yeah, it's half your inventory slots. Well, it's a third. Yeah. And you also heal at your usual rate, but only to HP of 1. So literally, you only get back to 1 and you don't heal anymore until you find somebody that can heal you. Narratively, I like that. Basically, if you go below 0 HP, you're basically dying, and all they will do is be able to stabilize you, and then they have to get your stabilized body to somebody that is trained in helping you, like a physician or a healer. It's
My necromantic wizard could help you, but only after you die. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can also choose to take a permanent disadvantage, which you note on your character sheet. Basically, you just mark it down, and then you just have disadvantage all the time. Like when you have, it's a negative double roll if it's applicable. Boom, done. There's also weapons that have knockout. It just knocks you out. No injuries, no nothing. Magic interference and healing. So wise heals different. Okay. Because magic interference is weird. Basically, you can't. The way this has had to be an edge case that people kept doing, and they said fuck that. So basically what this says is you can't heal yourself for the HP you're spending on magic, because I don't know if we said it before, magic, the cost is your
I did
HP.
say it, yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't just use magic and then heal yourself with magic, because you just create a loop of low-level magic and healing where you never actually lose any HP. You just can't, because it's called magic interference, and magic don't work that way. That's fine. I'm totally fine with it being like, it doesn't work because I fucking said so. Don't try to break it. Here's my problem, though. Okay. Habitual miracle workers paying HP, like the wise, get constant benign interference as a side effect. They regain HP at twice the natural rate of others. I'm going to roll up real quick just for a second.
Oh, they never call that a rate higher up, do they? They never say
it specifically says it is not a healing rate, but a static side effect. So if healing is not a rate at all.
Yeah, it's talking about the 48-hour rule is not a rate. That's a natural side effect. So the 1 HP every evening and morning is the rate or whatever. 2 HP if you succeed on the roll.
Got it. I was very mad about this. I'm glad you clarified that for me.
Oh, no.
I was very mad.
The character recovers. It never refers to this. It never refers to the actual rate as a rate. I just inferred that if you get 1 HP every evening and morning, if you fail or...
Yes,
or
you're completely right.
Yeah.
I didn't read it that way, and I was very mad that I was like, you say it's not a rate, and then you say it's by the rate. So basically, instead of 1 in the morning, 1 at night, you get 2 in the morning and 2 at night.
Wise can't rest for 24 hours and get fully recovered. Because that's not a rate. It's a natural prolonged effect of resting.
Basically, what it's saying is like the normal of you get 1 every morning, 1 every evening. The wise gets 2 every morning and 2 every evening.
Yes, or they get 4 and 4 if they pass their toughness roll.
Exactly. Boom. Ghost form. If we're talking about something that should be an optional rule, it's this.
Yes, this should be an optional rule.
Why is this here? Why are bases in the cool classes in optional rules, but ghost form isn't? So long story short, how does ghost form work? Guess what? If you die, you can just be a fucking ghost, and you get all of your HP that you had in life. Okay. And anytime you want to do anything, interact with the world at all, you have to spend HP, and it does not recover. So once you can only basically interact with the world until you've used up all your HP, and then you are literally a ghost that can do nothing because you cannot interact with the world anymore. That's it. So the higher level you are when you die means the more you can interact with the world. One thing I don't like about this is it says you can't go through doors and shit. I'm like, fuck that. If I have a ghost, they're going through goddamn doors.
I'm not fucking doing that. Like, that's so dumb. Also, why is this not an optional rule? I know we just said it, but like, this is one where like, oh yeah, like, if someone invoked this optional rule, I would probably let it fly. But it is weird that it is here.
As opposed to the cool classes and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're almost through core items. I'm just saying, I did this twice as fast as you did characters, is all I'm saying. Also, I wasn't talking while you were talking to me, because if I was talking while I was talking, it would take twice as long too. So, using magic items, guess what? You can. And if you want to throw shit, it's a missile attack. Like powders, you want to throw it 5 feet, whatever, who cares? Cursed objects, guess what? They exist. It's mostly a narrative. Players can do it, like referee does whatever. Reading a scroll, guess what? You can do it. Effects, parameters, and cost in HP are set. The use requires a trained intelligence roll modified by the HP cost, and it's -10 to the roll if the language is unknown but pronounceable. And unless noted, scrolls take 10 minutes to use. That's what all of this says. And then there's literally like a whole a roll result: fumble, fail, success, double success, crit. There's a result for how it works, and there you go. That's how it works. Go for it. Poison and drugs, they have a primary, secondary effect, and they should always have remedies, possibly addiction, and withdrawal effects to it. Boom. They exist. They exist in the world, and they exist the way you probably think they do. That's it. That is the core rules. Do you want me to chew through the rest of this in the next 10 minutes, or what do you want to do?
I don't know. Let's touch on what optional rules do you want to touch?
Well, let's just. Why don't I buzz and you stop me when you want? Yeah. Using traditional material. Guess what? You can. There's variants here for adapting it. Boom. Good job. Crawling dungeons and hexes. Guess what? You can. There's rules here to do that. You
can. Absolutely. That's another one that I think it's weird that this is not cooked in as a hex crawl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think because that implies some setting aspects to it, like dungeon.
I guess it does. Yeah, you're right.
Which pulls it out. Hirelings and retainers, they exist. It's fine.
There's more rules from later on too. So
yeah. Morale checks, it's weird it's an optional because when you get to the monsters, it specifically talks about morale.
Yeah. They have morale, like they have the stat. So it's not an optional rule. It exists already, it's baked in.
Yeah, so I don't know why it's an optional. Miniatures and terrain, you can use them. Good job.
You can use them.
Traditional magic, if you want to, basically it tells you how you can switch back to like Vantian magic. Why would you?
Why would you? What the fuck would you? Hey, you want your magic to be less fun and variable?
Here's the thing. I can see of all the things. I love freeform magic. You know that the magic that I'm fucking around with is very similar to this magic. I can see people bouncing off of it because of the choice paralysis of just being too freeform. I can totally see that, and I can see people leaning back into it. So fine, whatever. True miracles. Basically, it's saying that you can just get rid of magic and make all magic scrolls and miracles really miracles. Super low magic setting. I like it. There's a whole fucking thing here for it. Other traditions.
Can't read this.
What's up?
I didn't read this part.
Yeah, it's fine. Who cares? We're moving on. Combat in ships. Do it. Fight stuff on ships. Here's an ASCII image that I have no fucking, like, whatever. Mountains.
Hey, look, it's got a key though on this one.
Yeah, but fuck that. I'm sorry. Those are thick clouds. Why are they on the ocean? These are mountains? I don't.
This is Mountain Canyon.
Yeah, dope. Fine. It's fine. Crafting, code breaking, and hacking. Guess what? You can do it. You're good. Good job. Modern and future weapons. This is neat. I did think that these are really cool. We're not going to talk about it, but it talks about burst and full auto, ammo rolls. Look at all of the italicized, bolded stuff on here. The bullet points off to the side here. Why is everything after character creation about halfway through core rules suddenly become a rule book?
I don't know. Is it that this stuff is the later iteration add-ons? Okay.
I don't know. Because honestly,
there is some cool stuff here. Yeah. The rules here for like suppressive fire and stuff I thought were cool.
So good. So good. Honestly, though, if they just made the deft 2 pages and bullet pointed most of it, I would have immaculately, like the classes in general, I'd have so many less problems with this book.
Yeah.
They were like, this book is like 30 pages shorter than the last one. I'm like, why? Anyway, scale. You can have scale. That's totally fine. Good job. Do that. Corruption was an interesting rule. Basically, it adds madness, radiation, the influence of chaos and stuff like that. You actually add a new thing in, like a CL, and instead of spending HP, you can just spend corruption in order to do some certain things. I love that. I would use that in a fucking heartbeat. You know, my edgelord ass is using corruption rules.
Well, and I think that really fits into that you can put this on any setting and it works. And like, that's how you have a corruption aspect to your setting, radiation, whatever. Like, cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, madness, radiation, corruption, like, yeah, dude, that's super dope. And then there's a whole CL chart here. So CL 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 10, and then 10 plus. It shows you a minor effect in behavior versus like a major permanent effect, things that you can hide, things you can't hide. I really love this. I think this is a fantastic rule. A whole thing about corrupting magic, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But like, this is the part where it talks about you pay for miracles and corruption levels, CL, instead of HP. Really cool. I love that a lot. Customize attributes and implants. Basically, like losing a hand. Always roll for the closest attribute for the task at hand, things like that. If you want, you can customize a character attribute array to better suit the setting. So if you want to customize your attributes, it talks about how to do that. Blah, 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 blah. Beyond levels. Can you go beyond 10? Sure. Who cares? Whatever. Divine aid and debts are neat, but there's not a whole lot to it. A lot of it's narrative and referee discretion. Playing with aspects. So basically at starting at level 10, you can control limited aspects of the game world. So you like inns, books, weather, guards, like you just control aspects of the world, right? Which you kind of do from the beginning. Rare character classes, dope ones. Which one was your favorite?
I don't know. I think the fortunate, because I really like the idea of like manipulating like essentially luck. You know, like once a day you can just become really fortunate about something. Like I'm also rereading Wheel of Time, and Matchroom Coffin is like the guy who can just roll dice and he always rolls well. And like, yeah, look at that. So I don't know. I really like leaned into that.
You seem like a Matt guy.
Actually, I'm more of a Parany Barra guy. That guy has the coolest of the abilities. So
yeah, but I'm sorry, you're the shy, big lumbering.
Yeah, that's not who I am. I'm definitely more a Matchroom Coffin.
You're a Matt, yeah. So anyway, so the characters are the brave, the clever, and the fortunate. So just like the wise, the deft, and the strong really feed onto an attribute, these feed on other attributes or things, right? So the brave is about courage and your ability to stand fast. Again, this one actually has like numbered lists and shit, whatever. There's a clever. It's about thinking, but not being smart. It's about thinking about doing things in different ways. So you will get bonuses to doing things in unorthodox ways with non-combat related problem solving. That's really clever. This is going to be a difficult class for people to kind of, I think, vibe with a lot. Trying to think of ways to do things differently. So I understand why this one's a little bit more of an advanced class. I do think it is a more advanced class for the way that you have to craft your mind around it. But once again, like, I don't understand why this one, literally the entire class is laid out in numbers. Like the clever can do this, they can do that, they can do this, they can do that, like 1 through 9, very easily understandable, right? But the base classes in the earlier part of the game aren't. I don't fucking understand it. It's 2-page spread. Just do the classes in the beginning like this. What the fuck? Like, this makes me mad. These make me genuinely fucking mad. Like, these are so
laid out so much better.
They're laid out so much better. It makes it so easy to read and understand these classes versus the other ones where it genuinely makes me mad. The fortunate, like you said, well, no, the fortunate, it talks about being bored with an advantage and stuff like that, but then you're still using like the fortunate can have royal heirs, rich and influential merchants, 1 per game session. They may use their good fortune in a major way. So it's not like using luck. It's literally being born rich. And then being able to use your rich friends
I know.
to
It's
help
like
you.
Fortunate, but like I would probably spin it, you know?
Yeah, you could totally do a luck class.
Yeah.
There are some special classes that basically they're just races. There's the Dragonite, which is like amphibian refugees. So it literally, it basically walks you through like creating your own kind of species and the things that you could have with it. That's cool. The Marionette, which is dope. Like these scarecrow people that were supposed to, this is fucked, by the way. Marionettes, sometimes called scarecrows, are man-sized servant puppets infused with souls from dead humanoids. So it's a soul from a dead person put into a puppet.
Yeah, it's a golem.
Yeah. It's the soul of a dead person. So as in a person's soul is put into a... Yeah. And then they were originally made to serve as adjutants, bodyguards, or field medics, but in times of peace as butlers and worker versions have also been produced for the rich. So you're dead. Your soul is put into a wooden puppet, and then you are forced to work for the rich people. That's so like it's so fucked. I would have these everywhere.
This one, and I think Frostjaw. I mean, all of these are a little like setting specific. It almost feels like, you know.
Yes, the Dragonite too. But I think that's the point when one of the reasons they put these in, because they literally talk about the special classes being humanoids, humans. You can do a bunch of stuff, but it also teaches you at the beginning how to make them. So these classes are more examples, not just like to do it. It says list your advantages, list drawbacks, apply XP requirements. It teaches you how to build them, and then basically these are just 3 examples. The third one is the Frost Giant, like you said. They're tall giants, so you get like +7 HP and stuff like that. Bases are really cool. We're not going to dig into it because we could have a whole episode on this, but basically it's your home base. You can have one. There's like a base identity, how to have your base identity, building a vehicle, who the leader is, all that kind of stuff. Your equipment, your resources, all of that. There's a 0 state to your base where it basically talks about like the intactness of it. Like if your hull is intact in water and what it means when it becomes like not intact anymore. Intervention costs and stress. So as your base starts to crumble or be attacked, there's whole values for the base and the consequences based on like the stress your base comes under. And then if your base is compromised, if it's threatened, it's destroyed, all those kind of things. Here's a base. There's even a base sheet that you can use. Cool. Yeah. Then there's refereeing Whitehack. We're going to skip most of this because it's relatively generic. The only kind of interesting part is this intro part. Running the game of Whitehack means relying to a degree on your knowledge of the fantasy genre. Don't let it worry you. While the rules provide structure and means of resolution, their main purpose isn't to help. Children make things up together long before they can read. Playing game or make believe, you may need a reminder, but you don't need to. This is one where I was like, what are you even saying? On the contrary, the rules are mainly there to make things more challenging. The game text imposes restrictions on storytelling and purposely presents oppositions for the gaming group to handle. Tell the players that in Whitehack the goal is to tell a story, but now you are deliberately risking failure by abiding by the written rules, the dice, and the internal logic of a game world. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but that's how it goes. It's a roundabout way of saying things that I agree with, but from a very different side that I don't necessarily like vibe with, but it's fine. Refereeing bare bones. Referee a game. There's a 1 to 6. It's better structured than the vast majority of the beginning part of the book, but there's the base rules. There's some finer points to it. It talks about settings. It even gives you like ways to use settings, now versus before, civilization versus wilderness, hacking your notion of normal, switching or mixing genres. There's a lot of doing stuff. Playing with history, using a literary setting, adventures, predefined stories versus dungeon maps versus mind maps, building up phases, the way you can play the game. So prelude, preparation, travel, exploration, confrontation, basically how to structure your adventures. There's a whole mind mapping thing here, which fine, whatever. How to construct dungeons, like etc. This is more refereeing stuff, blah blah blah. Random tables, there's a modifying table results. Basically on that, it basically says you can go up or down 1 or whatever. Randomizing input rather than output. This is an interesting one. Read it. We're not going to. Lots of tables. How to run a campaign. Sandboxes. Reputation in game. Yeah, reputation in game is interesting. That's fun to read. A lot of this is just fine. If you've played games for any period of time, for the most part, you've run these. Macros is the thing that is fine, and I'm not going to go over. Read it if you like it. I wouldn't use it. It's interesting. Designing macros. Basically, it's the archetypal stuff that you can use, like the secret police, and running the secret police is like an archetypal thing within your world or whatever. So build macros and do shit with that. Monsters and artifacts. Did you want to touch on monsters at all? Or let me just keep doing what I'm doing?
Up to you. I'm letting you drive, right. You know?
Monster table entries. Basically, you have defense, you have harm dice, you have a movement, and then you have an LT, which is this entry together with the monster HD configures your loot roll. I do really love that. I do love the way the loot roll works. Monster keywords. So when it actually references keywords, the first time you see the word keyword is on like page 30 something underneath. I think it's the def class, right? It does not tell you then to go to page 117 or anything to figure out keywords. You have to go to the back of the book in the index to find keywords. And where keywords are explained at all is monster keywords. Keywords can be used as characteristics, right? As miracle wordings, or as abilities that you either script in advance or improvise on the fly. Why are we seeing this at page 117? Under monsters.
Why so much of this, you know?
What the fuck? Like, and it even then explains, for miracles and abilities alike, a good idea is to have the monster pay a few HP. Like, so monsters can do miracles and they can pay HP and do all this stuff. whatever, fine. There's some monster stuff here. Here's my other problem with like keywords. It says there are keywords and you can do stuff, but then when they're listed in the example things here, it's listed under special, not keyword. Whatever. There's a whole bunch of monsters, amphibians, bears, whatever. For example, a golem, right? Or a basilisk. 6 HD, 5 defense, 20 movement, plus 2H on the loot roll, and it has a petrifying gaze. Good job. Dope. That's a monster. Like, I don't understand why characters are so much more advanced, but like that's it. It's crazy. Monsters save AB, damage, and XP. They have all of those. Good job. And then this teaches you how to build a monster with it. Task roll, morale roll. Okay, so loot roll. Loot roll. I do really like this. So loot rolls can be used when you are unsure what, if anything, a monster has on them. So failures and fumbles render loot according to the below loot table, right? Success, on the other hand, gives you roughly the maximum plus something extra. Crits let you read the line below, if there is one, on the loot table. So basically, if you go back up to the monsters, a bunch of them have a listing next to them. So skeleton has an R. That's regular. Okay. So then when you want to roll on the loot table, you would say R for regular, right? If it's a failure, it's mundane or something expected, right? If it's success, it's something valuable, right? And if you crit, it's valuable and rare. Because you weren't valuable and rare. You get to go one down.
Perfect.
It's dope. I think it's really interesting. I really like that. This
actually
is
fairly straightforward.
This is usable table stuff with clear, concise directions.
I
write
would
the
agree.
whole book like this. My fucking god. Boss monsters is actually also dope. Fighting the boss monsters is cool. There's a lot of different things they can do, emitting aura and stuff like that. The way that the HP works is different too. Like when it's reduced to 2 or less by a boss attack, you must save at 1 HP or take damage. Like there's a whole different thing on how to like fight bosses and have stages to boss fights that I think is incredibly
It feels a lot more
cool.
cinematic. It makes it feel a lot different from regular fights.
Yes, this is something that I would use in all my games. I think this is really fucking neat, really interesting. Partitioning is a thing. Basically, bosses can split themselves up into lesser parts, and then there's values for like what the parts get, whatever. Example monsters. I also think it's really funny. One of the notes I wrote here is there are no detailed descriptions of trusty spells, iconic creatures, or well-known magic items in Whitehack. It's the first line at the beginning of Monsters and Artifacts. Okay. There are no iconic creatures or magic artifacts. Example monsters: First Triborg, Rock Snail, Spike Rat, Talking Head, The Twisted, Unzel, White Dragon Boss, White Cloak. I'm sorry, there's no examples of iconic creatures though, like dragons, right? Magic artifacts, they exist. There's a list of them here. Guess what? There's no list of them though, but they're here.
It's interesting. We were just talking about Wheel of Time, and there's a White Cloak. There's an obvious Wheel of Time reference right here.
Literal White Cloak.
It's like
if you
literally
look at
a
3E,
religious order with political ambitions. I'm like, this is literally weird.
Bro, if you look at 3E and the picture of the White Cloaks and the quote underneath it, it literally is like just the. I was like, this dude obviously has read. This dude has obviously read fucking Wheel of Time, because it literally is. I'll show it to you some other time. But there's literally a quote here. I'm like, those are the White Cloaks. Those are fucking assholes. So artifacts, there are concepts. So like Antidote Potion, Boots of Old, Crow Hat, Demon Contract. But
Crow Hat's a great one, by the way.
Yeah, there are not well-known magic items though. There's no list of those. But here we go with the list.
Yeah, the well-known Crow Hat. You know.
Yeah. Basically, it's just a bunch of artifacts listed here. Artifact questions and examples. Questions and then examples. There you go. Archibald the Eternal Torch. Caveau Crystal. No iconic items though. Ghost Box. Shadow Mark. Appendix. Here's like an example adventure. And then troubleshooting the game. I do like this section. I think this is a good section. The characters seem weak or die too often. A couple paragraphs on how to fix that. Is it hard to agree on things? A paragraph. Miracles are too open-ended. Paragraph. Fights are too static. Characters are too rich or poor. Open spaces require too much of a referee. And I like this part because it's like 10 years of people asking questions and them just being like, here's the answer to your question. I love that. I think it's great.
Cool section.
Character sheet. An example of this would have been great like 30 pages ago. The D20 spin table I like. You literally put a pencil down and spin and it'll just land on it. Love that. I think that's cool. D6 too, so you can literally play the game without any dice if you want. Index, it's all hyperlinked. And Whitehack.
And Whitehack.
Bro, all right. We're going to be under 3 hours on this.
Just barely.
Review scores. Obviously, we're doing a whole book. If you've never listened to us before, we review the game. We read through it, and then we apply numbers in a way to kind of take our shitty opinions and quantify them. There are 5 scores to book reviews. It's clearly a book. It's like 160 pages. Each score can get up to 5 points for a max total of 50. I think the highest we've ever gave is a 44. Art and layout is the art and layout of the book. Visually how it looks, right? Usability is a usability, which means digital tools. If things are in the correct order, how easy is it to find things that you need? The rule set is the core rule set of the game. Do we like it? If it's a hack, do we like how well it's hacked? Originality is literally how any aspect of it is original. Art, layout, like rules, anything. Value is bang for your buck. How much does it cost? Or how much do you get for what you pay for the book, right? Art and layout. There's no art. There's none. There's no art.
And the layout is center column, black on white. It's getting a 5 from me, buddy. Or a 4.
I struggle because I think that it is... If there was literally fucking anything to break it up a little bit more, I would be fine with it. I would be fine with it.
So 4.
But the whole thing is written, bro.
There's no art.
Visually, there's no art. So whatever. But I don't think. I think the book. Even if you look at 3, I do like. But here's the thing: is even in 3, the only art that they have are these like these pages that have like a circle with a quote underneath it. I love those. Even that in here, I'd be fine with it. Honestly, I don't mind it. Here's the thing. Layout wise, I don't mind single column. If I look at one page of this, it doesn't bother me.
But it's the default layout. It's the paper I turned in for 8th grade. You know, on
5.
the Microsoft Word.
I'm fine. I'm middle for this. Like I've seen worse layout because it is structured in a way that like we've seen worse layout.
I mean, I'm max 5 on this one, honestly.
Max 5.
I'm actually genuinely I'm at a 4. So
okay, let's go 4. Because visually, you know what? Visually, I struggled at the repetitive.
Yep.
If you read this as a PDF, especially if you don't have the little like lines between as you scroll, it is 160 straight pages of pure white.
Yeah.
Top and bottom. Yeah, you're right. Okay, 4. Oh, that's not the score section. God, I feel like it's been so long since we've done this.
It has.
4. Usability. I'm so torn on this.
So I'm torn on this as well because there are really great hyperlinking tools. That is a fact. There are bookmarks. That is a fact. But it is written in such a way that it is almost indecipherable unless you really go through it line by line and learn to ignore certain statements until later on when you have better context for them. The book has no bookmark.
A book?
No, the book, the physical book.
The physical POD has no bookmark. Yes.
There's no silk bookmark. There is no holding your spot. The order of things is fine at best. At best. But the rules are like most of the book has them hidden inside of paragraphs with that other contain other rules. It's not till the very end where they actually start like bullet pointing and appropriately bolding text. Yeah, which rule is that you're holding on? I can just barely see it.
This is the strong.
Okay. Yes. So it's
I
just
want
a
people to
nightmare
visually see what a spread looks like. And my camera's a little blurry, so all you see is one page and one page of pure black. This is the rules.
So for
160
usability,
pages of this.
I'm going to 5.
This is what Magic looks like. Okay. This is the def class. Don't even worry about this, because this is not applicable. This is the class. This is the page that you have to read to know how to understand the def class. This is it.
Uh-huh.
Look at that. Look at that.
Great.
What the
Here's that wall of text.
What?
I mean, so
That's
I
not
could
usable.
go.
That's
so here's
not
my
usable.
here's the thing. I think this game is completely unusable when you go through it. I think it's completely unusable. And what's bumping it up to a 5 is how good the hyperlinking and bookmarking is.
You know what? I completely agree. I think that this is the thing that makes me so insane is you legitimately cannot make a more navigable PDF. Good fucking job. Genius fucking work. The amount of time that went into that, I applaud the author. It's fucking fantastic. But as I said before, hyperlinking a maze does not make it not a maze. It's still a maze. Like you can't maze was my way to use a much nicer word than the words I was going to use for hyperlinking. You can't ask for better digital tools. Like you legitimately can't. The hyperlinks on every page that takes you to the index and the table of contents, fucking fantastic. But yes, I'm sorry. I have read the def class so many times and I could not run a def character if I wanted to. I wrote an entire summary of the deft character and I have no idea how to run a deft character. Like it's so hard to parse, and like we said, like the help rule is literally like an example in a different rule. And then why again does the vast majority of the stuff like after core rules become more readable? And character creation by itself is so indecisive. Like the magic wording is like it's two things, but there's 5. I don't know. Yeah, 5 at best. You said,
Perfect.
Honestly, I can't use this book. I can't. Like I said, I would have to, if I wanted us to play this game, I'd have to rewrite the entire book and give it to you again. Rule set.
I like the rules, you know?
I do. I like the rules that I understand.
Yeah, I like the rules a lot. I think there's some stuff in there that like the auction, fuck that. That's never touching my table. I think there's a lot of other stuff in between that I think is a little too crunchy for my table personally. But overall, I don't think it's awful. I don't know. My perception of going through this game is coloring my
always, and we have to try to be objective.
I think for rule set, I'm at about a 6. I think they're good, maybe even a 7. I think the rules are really good. I think there's stuff that needs to be pulled out, but I think actually playing this game sounds fun. It sounds open-ended. It sounds customizable, and I really like that.
Yes, I think the concepts are fantastic. I love it. I do like the triangulation of class and groups and location and species and all that stuff. Again, I feel like it's an OSR game that had a little bit of story game stored into it and then pulled out to a macro view, right? So that you're at a slightly higher conceptual level than like being actually in it.
Yeah, I agree.
It would be great if they kind of just push it back down. Like I think it's trying to be headier than it needs to be. And can succeed at the task without making it so nebulous, right? But I love some of the stuff in here. I do love some of the stuff in here. I do hate a couple of things. I would never go near auctions. And then I like most of it. This is a game where I struggle because I think I will never play this because I will never take the time to do what I would need to do to make it playable for me. But if I did take that time, I think I would enjoy it a lot. 6 or 7, your call. I'm gonna go 7 because I think conceptually, I think conceptually I love what this game is trying to do. I just don't like the way it communicates it. Originality. I think conceptually I really love a lot of what they do.
Yeah. I don't know that I have a lot to say about this one. I mean, it's generic overview system, but like, it's been around forever. It is incredibly original. Like a lot of things are now derived from this. A lot of stuff that I like actually is derived from this. So yeah, a 7. I don't know.
7. That's what I already had. That's what I already queued up.
Perfect.
Value.
And value. I mean, here's the thing. You can use this with any tabletop game adventure module possible because it can just be stripped of everything. I know you said there's examples where it creates a little friction, but I think that friction is where a lot of the system would actually happen. And I'm down for that. I like a good time. As for the cost of the actual book, I'm not even sure what it is.
I got you. So the Lulu print-on-demand hardcover version that I'm holding in my hand right now is currently $29.90. Okay. If you want the notebook edition, which, as I said, leaves a lot of like open note pages, so you can like basically like write your campaign in the book as you go through it, is $40. I'm not even going to count that because I'm not going to use that.
Yeah.
And then there is a paperback version that is $19.95. You do not get the PDF with any of these. That is just the book.
What?
Yep. So then the PDF version is on Drive-Thru RPG for $15. So for a print-on-demand hardcover, no, I don't mind this. For a print-on-demand hardcover, okay. For print-on-demand and paperback, it would cost you $35. And then for hardback and PDF, it would cost you $45.
I can see the book in your hand, and I honestly just think that cover is.
I'm fine with the cover. I don't like the POD cover.
Yeah.
If it was a print like this,
that's crazy.
The third edition is fantastic. I'm sad that this even came out, and I'm sad we didn't do this a year ago when I wanted to, because I feel like this book would Anyway, I don't like its print on demand. It's kind of crazy that this book print on demand costs $30.
Yeah.
Because once again, Death in Space cost $35, and it has foil and thick pages and 3 bookmarks and like all sorts of shit. It's a little expensive. I will say the PDF for $15, I would pay $20. It's 10 years of development for a game.
That's fine.
I'm fine with that.
I just think that book's a little. I also think it's a little crappy. It's like, oh, you got to buy PDF separately. But so what do you think? Like a 6 on this? 7?
Well, so that is just, once again, it's value, not cost. So that is just the cost of the book. But if you go to Whitehack RPG.wordpress.com and go to the stuff section, there is literally graphs on like what's new in 5. There's pages on what's new. There's character sheets, there's base sheets, there's bullet points on explaining the game, there's Foundry VTT module, there's the Whitehack Ghost Box, which is like a whole thing unto itself, where it talks about like there's a whole section on like author commentary put together from Milton.
Okay, cool.
Right,
so
where
there's
he
a lot
went
of
through
tools.
a lot of stuff. Yeah. So the available version for Foundry required only. I'm gonna click on the newest one, and it looks like it's free. It's an unofficial system for Whitehack, unaffiliated, but it looks like it's free.
So for me, man.
Yeah, free VTT module. And then what else do we have here? Errata sheets, the multiple rule summaries written by Milton and Madison. Once again, the last readout, and socials. I'm so sorry, Madison. I forget what that one was. I do want to say it one more time because that is the one I used more than Milton's. Hers is just based on Milton's. So Madison is social-rooster.itch.io. Madison, you were a fucking godsend because I would not have gone through this core rules without you. Thank you so much. That's once again, that is Social Rooster on itch. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot. And the thing too is like, there was all of that stuff for 3rd edition is still here too, and 2nd edition is still here too. I do think it's got a lot of really amazing resources. So for the people that can actually play this game, I would be stoked as fuck for this. I can only imagine, even though there's not a third-party license, you can just do whatever because that's not written in the book at all. I'm saying probably at least a 7 on value for this, I think. Like, the book itself for POD might be a little bit expensive, but I think what you get for 10 years of development is decent. So I think a 7 is solid for this.
Cool. 7.
All right. So, that is, we're at 2 hours and 59 minutes, and we can get the heck out of here. 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. That is a 30.
That's a score.
That is a score. I talked to Hunter about this before. I think we are now 0 for 4 on our classic game reads. Most of what we do is indie games, and that's what we're going to focus on. But sometimes we will read older games that a lot of the indies we enjoy are based on, right? I did not enjoy reading Whitehack. I did not enjoy reading Blackhack 2E. I think I would really love 1E, but Blackhack 2E's push to turn it from a rule set into a game was not a good thing.
It's
in
a
my
mistake.
opinion.
Yeah.
Apocalypse World. I did not like reading that book. But I did not hate it as much as Blades in the Dark, which is honestly now my second most disliked book that I had to read because this one has become my first. I think they're tied. 1A, 1B. So we're 0 for 4 on the classic books that a lot of the games we enjoy are hacked on, which that disappoints me. I want to find a good one. Our plan for right now next week is to do Mock Yato Monsters, which is a terrible name for a great game that actually mixes Whitehack and Blackhack together. We will talk about that next week. Once again, check out Crumbling Keep stuff and the Goblin Sale. Check out Red Solstice over on Red Solstice's itch page from Stella Condrey. And don't forget that Space Penguin Inc. is having a sale right now, and Red Solstice will be on there next week. And go vote for all the homies for the Innies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.